back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
You never know what we're up to here at the Next Round. The easiest way to stay in the know with our antics and adventures is to follow the Next Round across all social media platforms at Next Round Live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Whether it's Dunaway sleeping in the studio, Tim and Lunsford breaking down the latest movie release, or Game Day Chronicles, we are here to keep you updated on the latest sports news while, of course, having just a little bit of fun. Follow at Next Round Live across all platforms to join in.
Visit nextroundlive.com today. It's free, unless you haven't paid your internet bill. So go ahead and pay that, and then it's free. Heck, you can pull out your phone and go to nextroundlive.com right now, where you'll find all the free content that you can stomach, unless you haven't paid your phone bill. Then you need to pay that, and then you can enjoy all the free content. NextRoundLive.com is so rewarding that it should be behind a paywall, like Lance's Lock. So in summary, play Lance's Lock. Then you'll have enough money to pay your bills, and go to NextRoundLive.com, where you're always at your happiest, for free.
Top of the city, far from what we know. Exposed is the valley and the dregs we throw. We lie in abundance to the neon light, made to endure the flames you ignite. Just before you cast your stones. Ooh, oh, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm going out that door, yeah. Ooh, it's a shame. That's a long way to carry along. It's a long road, that's a long way to carry along. It's a long road, that's a long way to carry. Ooh, it's a shame. You last to know.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Live show now on a Thursday. We'll give you some reaction from our day in Tuscaloosa coming up a little bit later on, getting to hang out with the Alabama coaching staff of Kalen DeBoer and company. We'll break that down a little bit later in the show. Justin Hokanson joins us to start hour number 2 at 10 a.m. Central Time on Auburn football. Hugh Freeze talking today. Some of the players after the Auburn Tigers have jumped on the field. Alabama goes on Monday. And Dalen Cuff joins us at 11 to break down what he saw last night in basketball. But that's where we start. Alabama's a winner. More on that in a second. Let's go Tennessee beating Auburn first in what was, I thought, a high-level, quality basketball game. And one that, and I know this sounds stupid, but I feel better about Auburn in the NCAA tournament. I feel better about them now than I did before that basketball game. Tell me why that's the case.
Well, I mean, they had an 8-point lead until Dalton Knecht just goes absolutely bananas in the second half. And that guy, I just, watching him down the stretch, it's like, how was he even guardable in his league last year?
Lance, he was not even first-team all-conference. We keep going back to that. I mean, figure that one out.
Yeah, I mean,
I would like to go back and watch that guy and see if he just blossomed overnight or if he played anything like this last year.
Did he grow 2 inches?
No. I mean, he's what, 6'6"?
6'6".
Yeah, I mean, but he can do absolutely everything. And I think his game is really, it's NBA friendly. I think he's going to be really good at the next level. I think he's going to be a lottery guy. I don't think there's any doubt he's going to go in the top 10.
I don't know what Auburn could have done more in guarding him at parts of the game. And even when he went on that run, and the great stat is, Auburn is up 63-55 at the under 12 timeout. And then Dalton Knecht outscored Auburn 25-21 in the final 12 minutes of the game.
That's incredible.
It's a crazy stat. And if you're watching that, some of those shots were highly contested, hand in face, jumping with him. He's just out jumping him with a high release and draining him from way beyond the arc.
Yeah, I mean, here's the Pearl quote. Dalton is terrific. We thought we had guys who could guard him. When he went downhill, we could have offered more resistance. I don't know. I agree with you. I think the difficulty of the shots. And when he's taking it to the rim, there's only so much you can do about it. And somebody over in the chat is saying, Knecht may score 50 against Bama. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I mean, this could be his Pete Maravich moment in Coleman Coliseum.
That was actually a whole topic I had down for later on. I think the Coleman Coliseum record, I don't know if it's urban legend or a real record, but it's Pete Maravich 60-plus, that time back in the 60s when he came into Coleman Coliseum. I assume that is the most points ever scored by anybody in a Coleman Coliseum basketball game at the college level. I'll throw a lot of disclaimers there.
Yeah, you did.
But Dalton Knecht, the way Alabama's playing defense right now, could scare them if he so chooses.
Normally in the NBA, when you have a guy go off like that, it's not necessarily good for the team because a lot of guys are standing around and watching, and you'll see a guy score 40 and the team will still lose by 10. But, 20 points is a lot. And that's what's, and I know we'll get to Mark Sears in a second. That's what's so impressive about Mark Sears. He goes 20-plus every night, it seems like. But when you go 39 in a college basketball game, it's hard to beat that team.
I will say this, and we do this often, but if I had given you these numbers yesterday during the show, I would have said Auburn is going to shoot right at their season shooting percentage, which they shot 45.8. Auburn's a 46% shooting team on the season. They're actually going to shoot better from beyond the arc than they do on average. They're going to shoot almost 41% from beyond the arc, 9 of 22. They're
40%.
They're 30-some-odd on the season. I don't have it right in front of me, but they're in the 30s. So they outpace their normal three-point shooting percentage. They're right at their actual shooting percentage. They're 21 of 28 from the stripe, and they scored 84 points. So I've given you those 4 pieces of information. You would have thought Auburn won by what?
Well, it's Tennessee on the road. I would have thought Auburn won.
Yeah, I mean, you score 84 against Tennessee's defense. It's hard to stomach a loss.
That's exactly right. Bruce Pearl cut one, Rockstar. If you'll give me Bruce Pearl. That's what Bruce was talking about last night. Remember, this game was 46-43. That was the final score last year in Knoxville between two of the great defensive teams in the country.
No Dalton Knecht.
There was no Dalton Connect, but 46-43 was the final score. It was 44-40 at the half last night. That's how good these two teams were playing, and it wasn't all easy baskets either. It was a lot of contested games. Bruce afterwards on one that he feels like got away from his team.
You score 84 points on the road, playing for a championship. That ought to be enough to win. Our defense definitely let us down. And obviously Dalton was terrific, and he was really hard to stop one-on-one. He made a lot of tough shots, a lot of shots that were contested. Probably disappointed in two things. One, when he went downhill, I thought there were times when we could have offered more resistance, more help off the ball. We didn't. And then I thought Siegler getting downhill against us was a huge factor. Jedi Broom did everything he possibly could offensively, and we had some pretty good balance. Again, you score 84 points in here, you should be able to win.
Wow, I mean, if there was a way you could go back and take Bruce after the Kentucky loss and Bruce right there, two different people.
And that's what I was going to say, Brent. I don't disagree with Bruce often because coaches are coaches and they know their teams better than me. I'm just a sportscaster and a fan. But I thought the way he was playing after the game last night was sort of the wrong tenor. And as I started off, I thought this Auburn team showed me that they have a little backbone, that when you get neutral site in the NCAA tournament, and he probably is telling his team that's for the media and everything, but that team, if they play like they did last night in Knoxville, will be a tough out in the NCAA tournament. I don't know how far they could go. Jimmy Dykes was talking, these are two possible Final Four teams, and that is a possibility. I don't know what more you could do defensively against Connect, and I understand when he beats his defense and is driving down, but when you've got a guy like Ziegler, who is also terrific with the basketball, that makes it a double dose. And how many times are you going to get Vescovy not scoring but 2 points, and that's on a late heave by Connect off the top of the backboard that he just happens to sprint to the basket at the right time, grab an awkward rebound and lay it in for two. Vescovy scores 2 points.
Yeah, Dalton Connect's taking him away.
Yeah, it's a deep, experienced team, and Connect just gives it another element they didn't have the last couple of years under Rick Barnes, and that's why the expectation is so great for this Tennessee team. But, that's just when you are, and you mentioned the 63-55, when Connect can score 11 straight and 20 of their 23, when you have a guy like that in the tournament, and he had 2 fouls early in the game.
Right.
And so that was a little concerning for Rick Barnes, but if you can keep him out of foul trouble, Tennessee, they can win the national championship. I don't think there's any doubt. But I do agree with you. I think Auburn in a loss, it's about as good as you can look in a loss.
And I'm replaying it in my head on that little stretch, Brown. And it was like, what was the video game? It was NBA Jams, right? Where it was 2-on-2 and you start shooting and the ball lights up a ball of flame.
What did he say, Rocky?
He's heating up.
And dude, that's what it felt like. Once they got him the ball, he was sleeping in the corner and then he sprints out, as Jimmy Dykes would say.
Boom, shakalaka.
He grabs it and he's shooting. And sometimes it's 3-point range from the NBA. Yeah, I don't know what more you could do with that guy, and it's going to be interesting to see how Alabama attacks him. Late in the game, those officials were allowing Chad Baker-Mazara to – there were a couple of times he was wrapping his arms around him to keep him from moving, and they weren't calling a foul. And Dalton Connect was looking at the official like, well, wait a second, what are we doing here? What are we doing? I don't know how you cover the guy.
I was in transition. I had to fill in for our buddy Will Haver at Odie's Trivia last night. So I was in transition from dinner to trivia. And so I was listening to Andy Burcham and the gentleman that does the analysis when they're on the road. It's not Sonny. It's another guy when they're on the road. And the guy was like, Andy's like, Dalton Connect's on fire right now. And the guy's like, Andy, those last two were NBA threes. I just don't know what you do.
Contested.
Yeah, there's contested NBA threes. I really don't know what you do here. That was kind of his, he didn't say those exact words, but that was basically his point, is this guy's just firing it up from NBA range. And listen, you weren't there, Dunaway. Lance was. When you stand, we were on the court down at the Legacy Arena when they had the NBA striped out. It seems like it's twice as far as a college three, doesn't it, Lance? When you're
I
standing
mean,
behind that
it's-
NBA line,
Yeah, I mean, those additional feet.
that's a haul.
What is it? A little more than 4 feet further back?
Yeah, but it feels like
Yeah.
it feels like 10 feet further back. I mean, it is a haul to shoot from that
Didn't
NBA.
scare our boys from shooting, though.
No, we still flogged them up. Trust
Yeah.
me.
Not at all. And we didn't know if Jalen Williams was going to play, and he gutted out 21 minutes off the bench, but, he wasn't 100%.
Yeah, got 12 points, 20 minutes, and he did play. Wrightsell didn't, so we had those backwards yesterday. Let's talk about Alabama right after LT tells us about our friends with the Sports Betting Alliance. A little movement down in Montgomery yesterday.
Yeah, this is coming down to the wire. And again, if you want to get on board, now is the time. Let your voice be heard. I don't know if you guys ever got in touch with the local senator. I sent you guys the number 334-261-0800. I would invite everybody to call, let their voice be heard, because they are soon going to decide whether or not you can vote not only on lottery, casinos, but sports betting. They want to hear from you. Did you know Alabama is one of only 12 states where you can't legally bet on sports? House Bill 151 allows you to choose whether you can place a bet on the big game this weekend. Call your state senator today. Tell them to vote yes on the lottery and gaming bill. For more information, go to sportsbettingalliance.org. This is paid for by the Sports Betting Alliance, sportsbettingalliance.org. Again, write the number down. Call right now. I've had multiple people send me texts saying they just got off the phone with them. 334-261-0800. That's 334-261-0800.
I went from watching that what I thought was a well-played basketball game to the start of the Ole Miss Alabama game. And first of all, I will point out that we do this probably about once every February, this time of year, where ESPN refuses to build into their schedule enough time for both games to start.
Oh, they do it in football too.
And they do it in football too. Why not just schedule these at the length of that the normal run time is, instead of me having to, wait to miss the start of a game or go to ESPN News or whatever.
Like, would it kill you for you to have to sit there for 2 minutes and listen to Seth Greenberg and Dalen Cuff, our 11 o'clock guests, talk about what they just saw? That wouldn't kill me.
Yeah, give me a little middle studio show.
I don't. That doesn't bother me.
But I do. If I'm at the game, I want the game to start on time.
Well, I do, but if the announced time is 8:15, it starts on time. And that's the
I get that.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I don't like it when they push it back just for TV.
But they're already telling me the game is going to tip at 9:10 Eastern, 8:10 Central. And then it really goes, by the time I get over there to it, it's 8:20.
Yep.
So I've missed 10 minutes of time. It seems to me like we could build it out to where I know the game's going to start at 8:20.
I would agree with you.
Yeah, so I can get all the games on television. But, we live in the greatest country in America. I mean, the greatest country on the planet. Why not? We've all got multiple TVs, it seems. We don't miss anything, but I just don't understand that. Alabama wins last night in an arena that I'm told by Greg Bernigan yesterday that that's, if we ever build one, it's going to look a lot like the one in Oxford.
Yeah,
right?
I think they like the way the pavilion is set up. Yeah.
I don't.
You don't?
I don't. And I don't know if it's because the broadcast always sucks from there and it makes me dislike that arena. If it's because Ole Miss basketball isn't always well attended, like it wasn't last night, which makes me dislike that arena. Maybe it's just the Ole Miss product, which makes me dislike that arena. Maybe it's the camera angle. Maybe it's the technology.
I think it looks pretty good on TV.
The Ole Miss product, Lance, under Kermit Davis was kind of boring.
That was awful.
Yeah, but under Chris Beard, I don't think it's going to be that bad.
Yeah, they've lost, what, 6 of 7? Is that what they've lost?
Yeah, they've lost 6 of 7. They had a 15-point lead, and they lose by 15.
I said, I don't think it's going to be that bad.
No, not right now.
Yeah. I saw you bitching about it on Twitter, but we were at Odie's, so we did not have sound up. You were saying it sounded like the announcers weren't there?
No, the announcers sounded fine. The crowd sounded like they were playing a game. It really, what it sounded like the Conference USA tournament back when they had the split screen. And like there was a game going on the other side of the gym or across the street in another arena, and the crowd sounded muffled. Like a muffled sounding crowd all night long.
I did notice a lot of empty seats, though, behind the benches there. The fans did not turn out for that game.
Which made me wonder, were they pumping in crowd noise? Because that
seems like a lot of effort for Ole Miss.
Lance,
That's what it sounded like they were pumping in some muffled, crappy crowd noise that they had recorded on a handheld phone or something and were playing it over there to make it sound like it had some folks in there. But I think you guys would agree with me. Not the announcers. The announcers
Okay,
were
see,
fine.
that's why I was trying to clarify. I just didn't know what you were saying.
The crowd sounded like they were next door or muffled or something.
Well, NH3425 agrees with you. He says sound muffled, weird noise on TV for the Bama game. JT83 says acoustics in there are bad, Jim, so I guess he's been there. Chase says, I went a few years ago to Auburn at Ole Miss. The arena was pretty nice. A lot of SEC ESPN needs to step up their production quality. Now, that is I guess on those games, it is still the school production, right?
It is the school production.
Yeah, ESPN's not sending their trucks anymore. It's school production.
So Alabama and Auburn do a really good job of their production, and Ole Miss's broadcasting department needs to crank up.
I guess.
Spend some money on some microphones.
I reckon.
Yeah, get it from Jackson Dart, man. Get some microphones from Jackson Dart's NIL or something.
Can you tell me, because I had Ole Miss plus 5.5, I thought you were going to see Alabama, a really good defensive effort, and Ole Miss ends up getting some garbage baskets late, and they get 88 points.
So you took Ole Miss plus 5.5 in that one, okay?
Yeah, I felt like Ole Miss.
My gut feeling when I was talking to you yesterday, when that number came out, 5.5, and
I was surprised.
Did it trickle to 6? I thought maybe you were telling me that Alabama was gonna boat race them.
No, I ended up playing Tennessee and ended up playing Ole Miss, and I just thought Ole Miss would keep this a lot tighter, but Davin Cosby.
I mean, what in the world?
I didn't see this. Normally when you get a true freshman off the bench, they're coming in to give you some quality minutes and contribute.
Hey, don't shoot, Davin. You go in there, man, unless it is a wide open shot.
Hey, and by the way, usually not at the end of February. Not on February 28th do you see a guy coming off getting his most meaningful playing time ever.
Well, yeah, that was his most minutes since pre-Christmas.
I mean,
so it's been forever in a critical game that Alabama absolutely had to have, and that guy was. He had no conscience at all.
You think 10 attempted threes in 13 minutes of play is a lot, Lance?
It's amazing.
I mean, he played 13 minutes and took 10 threes. That's more than
it was almost like he was getting paid per shot.
I know. That's more than Lunsford shot.
Here's the deal. As you watch the game, he also was 1 of 4 to start with. So he missed 3 of 4, if you do the other side of that, and still had the guts to keep shooting.
You got to love his confidence. I mean, when and look, I don't know if you'll ever get that again from Cosby this year, but if you can get him to have 1 or 2 key baskets and then you get Reitzel back, you've got a lot of scores there. Still don't think this Alabama defense is any good. We'll see what happens Saturday in Coleman. I know they're a completely different team in Coleman, but boy, this is going to be an exciting game. I got a text from a buddy that lives in Denver, and he's like, man, I cannot wait for that game Saturday.
Yeah, Bama and Tennessee on Saturday, but more on what happened last night. 103-88, Alabama wins it over Ole Miss, and Davin Cosby, as these guys brought up, was one of the stories. 5 of 10 for three-point range. That's all his points, 15. I don't know how good his handle is, but he handled the pressure okay on the road. Here is Nate Oates.
This kid's always had a good attitude. He's worked really hard, and he's never lost confidence. And I've told him that. It's hard to do when you're not playing minutes. And we've told him he's got to get better on defense. And his shot selection had been a little suspect at times. That's why his percentages weren't as high as they should be, because he's actually a very good shooter. But, he had to learn how to take good shots. I thought he took 10 really good shots tonight. For a kid that has gone multiple games and not played at all, he's never lost his confidence. It says a lot about who he is as a person, his internal character, his work ethic. He stays in the gym and works, expecting to get a chance. And we needed him. I mean, if you're going to win a league championship, these are the games you're going to have to win on the road. And we don't have them tonight. We don't win this game.
Yeah, and it was a slow start. And to his point there, no Reitzel. So it wasn't like he was coming in and playing, like you'll get Lior Berman at Auburn. Some nights he'll play double-digit minutes. Some nights he'll play 6 minutes. Some nights he'll play 18 minutes. So he's in and out of a lot of playing time, but you're getting a few minutes on the court every night. This kid went a long time without ever seeing the court. He was down there with all the walk-on guys shooting bows and arrows after threes and throwing up 3 goggles. He was one of those guys.
Well, look, you get your opportunity in key minutes and you make those shots. He could have shot himself probably out of minutes, but he shot himself into it. And you mentioned he started 1 of 4, ends up 5 of 10. Those were big baskets from Cosby down the stretch. And, this kind of overshadows what Estrada did last night with a triple-double.
I know. That's hard to overshadow that, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, I mean, those 5 out of 10 from beyond the arc will do it.
Only the 4th triple-double in Alabama basketball history for Aaron Estrada last night.
That's hard to believe. I would have think Robert Horry and Derek McKee would have had a few triple-doubles.
Or if you go back to Reginald King and T.R. Dunn and some of those guys, maybe a Hollywood Robinson, if he got a rebound or something to bounce his way. But Estrada joins 2 from Roy Rogers,
I was going to say Roy Rogers had to be in the discussion.
Yeah, just because of those crazy-ass blocks.
Yeah,
and
by the
stuff.
way, points and rebounds.
The first two.
Roy Rogers was hell in the NIT.
So they did.
They had no triple-double
Until Roy Rogers.
Before Roy Rogers.
How about that?
Kyra Lewis and now Aaron Estrada.
That blows me away that Derek McKee and Robert Ory, with how balanced their games were, never had triple-doubles.
Wimp throttled
Well, I
him.
guess Derek McKee was ineligible a lot, right?
Yeah, Wimp throttled him, man. He wouldn't let him shoot.
18, 10, and 10.
Yeah,
18
Brody's
points,
right. Herb Jones seems like he would have been one of those guys,
heck
too.
yeah.
18 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists is the assist number, gets him to the triple-double. And Zach says Estrada tried to get Cosby another garbage time basket with like 5 seconds left. They did go over 100 again. But the amazing stat
Estrada didn't realize he had 10 assists.
He was trying to get one more.
Yeah, I need that triple-double.
Yeah. The amazing stat, though, is Alabama has now scored 90-plus points in 5 straight SEC games. Last time that happened, Arkansas, 1994.
I was going to ask what the line to beat for best offense in SEC basketball history is. That's got to be one of them right there. The old Nolan Richardson 40-minute of hell offense and defense.
They've done the 100-point total that has reached that great Kentucky team back then, national champion.
96.
And now 90-plus in 5 straight SEC games with that great Arkansas team back there. The difference in both of those and this Alabama team is that Arkansas team, was it known for its scoring or known for what?
Defense. 40 minutes ahead.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a different style.
Yeah, and this Alabama team, as dynamic as they are offensively, as many scores as they've got, I just don't see a deep run based on the defense.
Okay, well, let's answer this question then, because it came in early, so I'm going to dig back. Jason says, it's amazing how Auburn gives up 90, and Dunaway, you say, wow, that felt like a Final Four team. Bama scores over 100 again, and the story is, wow, their defense sucks.
Yeah. No, I thought Alabama's defensive effort was much better last night.
Yeah, but I mean, what's the expectation? There's 2 completely different teams. You're on the road in Knoxville. You're on the road in Oxford.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, those are night and day teams.
One team has lost 6 of 7. The other's the number 4 rated team in the country.
Yeah, the other is won 11 of 13, and they look like a Final Four team.
Well, I'm just saying,
I thought Alabama's
think Auburn's defense is number 6 in Ken Palm. I mean, that's one reason that you look at last night, and it feels like a little bit more of an outlier for Auburn than normal. Alabama's defense is 99th in Ken Palm. You look at last night, and you're like, it's kind of who their defense is.
No, I didn't say anything about the defense in this opening segment here today, because I watched last night and thought to myself, if you can get that kind of defensive effort from Alabama moving forward, you're going to win a lot of basketball games. I thought that effort was a lot better than at Kentucky. Now, it was against a lesser team than what Kentucky was at Rupp, and you play a better team in Tennessee coming up this weekend. But I thought the guys put forth great effort last night defensively. Still gave up 88 points, but I thought they played a lot better defensively last night. The problem is they got into a horrible situation, foul trouble last night.
Oh, yeah, they did. Rylan Griffin fouled out. Grant Nelson fouled out.
Yeah, and there were a lot of people playing with fouls, so they were more aggressive defensively, which you've got to be. But they also did that with some fouls. And Grant Nelson did not have his he still had 10, but he did not have his best game. And he also cost me a few $100 at mybookie.ag by not getting to 13 points.
What did he got? Got the box
record.
What did he get? 10. So all
10.
he needed to hit was 1-3, huh? And he fouled out.
He had
You know,
10.
you can't bet those props in Ohio anymore.
Dunaway fouled him right out.
Can't bet those college player props in Ohio.
Yeah, they have banned player props.
Yeah,
So stupid.
So I mean everything going in, man, and I'm ching $10 into 240. Just needed another 3 from Grant Nelson. 12.5 was a precarious number for Grant last night.
Clearly Vegas knew he was going to foul out.
All right. One more thing in this opening segment. Right after first LT tells us about our friends at Rump Shaker, and then Brownie will tell us about our fine folks there with mybookie.ag.
Yeah, did you realize that colon cancer is second leading cause of cancer deaths in America and affects men and women equally? If you're 45 or older, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, it's treatable, it's beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, please visit rumpshakerinc.org. You can also join us for the 16th annual Rump Shaker 5K that is coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field in Birmingham. For more information on that, to get registered, rumpshakerinc.org.
So Dunaway mentioned that he just missed on the player prop there at mybookie.ag. So it would have paid you $200, huh?
10 to pay 240.
10 to pay $240.
Yep.
Tough one there, Jim. Tough loss.
It was. But you know how I could have won that?
How could you have won that?
I could have won 10 to pay 130 if I hadn't have put
Grant Nelson
in there.
That's
Get a little greedy.
That's what we call greed right there. You can go play those at mybookie.ag. Code next round. When you go to mybookie.ag and you sign in, you use code next round. They give you that bonus. You use that bonus once, win with it. It is yours and yours right away. You don't have to win like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times with it. You win once with it. It is yours forever. You play college basketball, where tonight I see my Jacksonville State Gamecocks. I'm representing at home against UTEP. 4.5-point favorite in that one. You dive over to the NBA. You take a look at, say, the Nuggets Heat tonight. Nuggets a 5-point favorite at home. You play all those games right there at mybookie.ag. I can play the PGA Tour. I can play Live Golf. I got all the John Rahm favored to win, by the way, in case you're wondering. What is Kim?
For the Live?
For the Live. I was going to see if I can
Anthony
find
Kim out of the gate.
I was going to see if I can find his number real quick.
First time in 12 years, I would
Plus
imagine.
125.
I'd say 1,000 to 1.
1,000 to 1?
I'm not going to say it's that high.
I'll see if I can find that. We got to. No, he's plus 10,000.
No, so I was way low.
Yeah, so you guys don't think he's going to win. Yeah. You can play those at mybookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on mybookie.ag.
All right. Listen, we had a fun day as a group yesterday over in Tuscaloosa, and we didn't get a chance to mention it on the air. There you can see our picture with Kalen DeBoer and some other great stuff. It was a wonderful trip over there, and we'll talk more about Tuscaloosa. But if you watched The Meltdown yesterday, which is our new show, which is 2 o'clock every day, 2 o'clock Central, Monday through Friday, here on this platform, and you go and like and subscribe to The Meltdown. Our coworker, the newest coworker up here, Tim Melton, shared with everyone who watched the show the passing of his dad yesterday. And if you haven't seen it, please go back and watch the first 5-10 minutes of the show. A wonderful tribute of a son to a father and why he's in this business and everything. And it's right off the start of the show. So we encourage you to watch the whole show. But if you just go and consume the first 10 minutes of that, and if you still have the chance to call and tell your dad you love him, today is a good time to do it.
You know, and beyond that, Tim's dad is a fascinating guy. First of all, he is a United States veteran. And if you've watched any part of this show, you know how much love and respect we have for the U.S. veteran, but specifically a Vietnam veteran. And those men and women who came back got a raw deal because of the nature of that war. And that is very unfortunate. Like, you can have your opinion about the war. And I mean, that's what makes this country great. We all get to have our opinions. But as it relates to the United States veteran, I could give a damn how you feel about that war. Those men and women went over there and put their life on the line representing our country, and they deserve better than what they got. And unfortunately, Tim's dad was exposed to the Agent Orange, as Tim pointed out, and that's what unfortunately disabled him as a disabled veteran. But he still served his community as a police officer, as a police detective and a police chief. So that was a good man right there that our country needs more of.
And Tim goes into great detail of that there at the start of The Meltdown, if you'd like to go consume that today. But our thoughts and prayers to Tim and his family, and extended up here to our family because of our love for Tim. So go check that out. It's The Meltdown. It's on these platforms right here, 2 o'clock again live today. And Tim is part of that. And there you see a picture of Tim and his dad. Rest in peace, my man. We're back in a moment right here on TNR.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239 Equal Housing Lender.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with Walk-Ons.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Rolling on the next round, Brownie just with a little bit of information from FanDuel, a different betting site than our friends at mybookie.ag, which we enjoy, but it's an interesting note on who can win the national championship still.
Yeah, updated national championship odds after last night's action. UConn still 5.5 to 1, Houston 7 to 1, Purdue 7.5 to 1, Arizona, Tennessee after last night both 13 to 1. Auburn is in a group with North Carolina and Marquette at 20 to 1. Duke and Iowa State 22 to 1, and Alabama 25 to 1.
You know, you never get numbers like that in college football this deep in the season.
What do you mean, numbers that are that big?
Yeah.
Because the NCAA tournament is this?
Yeah.
That's a roulette wheel.
It really is. I mean, that shows you right there. I mean, you get Tennessee at 13 to 1.
Yeah, that's a good team, isn't it?
Yeah. By the way, for any of you that have been to a casino in, say, the last few months, have we changed the roulette wheel? Does it now have a 00, 000?
It's always had 2 greens.
No, but does it now have 3 greens?
Yeah, I don't think they would do that.
Somebody check that out. I mean, I'm with you. Historically, all the way back to James Bond, there's been 2 greens, but I heard that maybe the roulette wheel now is a 3 greener, which changes the odds a lot, right?
Oh, it affects them big time, because that's what a lot of people are like, man, roulette, red or black is 50-50. Nope, it's not 50-50. You got a couple of greens out there for a reason.
Well, but which
completely throws the odds
So there is
off.
a special kind called 000 roulette.
Okay.
That it says the Venetian was the first one to introduce it, that it's a thing, but the typical roulette wheel is still, I guess it's 0 one side, 00 on the other side.
Okay, so they didn't change all roulette wheels ever. It's a special roulette wheel you can
There's
play.
all kind of things out there that are now variations on all the favorite games, and it kind of messes you up at a casino.
But Lance, on the 000, I lose a red or a black, don't I?
Yeah, so it raises the casino advantage from 5.26% to 7.69%.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Casino's always going to have the advantage.
They are.
But it also gives you better odds if you're betting green, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you actually just bet green?
Well, it gives you better odds.
Can you not
I
just bet
don't know
green?
if you could just bet green or if you had to do 0 or 00.
Oh, I don't know.
Honestly, I'm not a roulette guy.
Charlie says there's 2 at the Hard Rock, so the Venetian there. Leave it to Jim to find the special roulette wheel, says Daniel.
I had never heard or seen.
Yeah. Bama Mafia says 000 roulette wheel, 000 roulette wheel is becoming the norm everywhere now.
Well, just the weird thing about it, though, then it takes away a red or a black. So now red or black aren't even
No,
odds.
it's an actual space. It's condensed the spacing.
Oh, okay, I got you now.
Yeah.
So they've added a space. They didn't take away a red or black. I got you. Okay.
Because you want to keep the 36 numbers.
Yeah. Gotcha. That makes more sense now. I could not figure out.
And it does if you can play, in the crosshair of like 4 numbers, and then you get a little slightly less odds if you hit those. Now there's like a triple, like a triangle point that you can play all 3 and technically, I guess, play green and get that. So it would give you slightly higher odds.
Well, Zach says you could get roulette close to 50-50, but you got to be creative. I don't know enough about it to know.
Oh, me either. My roulette experience is always
Russian.
Yes. Which I've never lost.
Obviously.
You only get to lose that one once, right?
Hey, would you feel good about Dunaway putting 1 round in the chamber?
Not at all.
Are you clearing out of the room?
Yes, I am.
My depending on how well life has been that year, when I go in a casino, it's always that first $20 or $100. I go in and I either put it on black or red, whatever I'm feeling, and I hope to double up right there to start off with, and boom.
Ever paid out?
About 25% of the time.
Good.
Usually kicks off my bad weekend at whatever casino I'm in. Hey, show being brought to you by our friends at Legacy. Sign up today for the Swap and Drop program. If you wonder what the Swap and Drop program, let me paint you an example. Let's say a guy named Jim has a car loan with one establishment, and he's paying a certain amount per month, certain interest rate and all that. But he says, hey, I'd love to swap my car loan over to Legacy and get a better monthly payment, a better interest rate, and all that. That is the Swap and Drop program in a nutshell for guys like Jim. You can do it too, swapanddrop.com, swapanddrop.com, whether it's a car loan, truck loan, boat loan, camper loan, motorcycle loan, ATV loan. You can all swap your current loan provider to Legacy and drop your interest rate and monthly payment. It's swapanddrop.com. Swapanddrop.com. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions may apply. See credit union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA. We'll talk about the it's like a 3-0 roulette wheel. We'll talk about the new college football playoff thing in just the next segment. We'll do that in the next segment. Justin Hokanson on Auburn football at 10. One more passing from the entertainment world yesterday before we talk about our trip to Tuscaloosa. But Richard Lewis passed away, 76 years old, best friends with Larry David like brothers, longtime comedian, and he passes away yesterday, age of 76. Larry David said he was like a brother to me, that they were born 3 days apart in the same hospital, and they've been close ever since.
Well, look, I mean, if you watch Curb in its 12th and final season, the chemistry between not only Richard Lewis and Larry David, but all of the characters that have been mainstays for a long time, including, Leon and Ted Danson and those guys, but art imitating life. And Rocky, I don't know if you're caught up on this season, but they started talking about each other's, like Richard Lewis was like, I'm going to put you in my will. And Larry's like, oh, you're going to put me in, now you want me to put you in my will.
No.
Yeah. And it's crazy that was the last episode, and then Richard Lewis passes away this week, just days after the episode.
Did they know he was sick, Rockstar?
Parkinson's disease.
Oh, okay,
but they said he had been fine. He had a heart attack. That's what killed him.
Well, you watch him on the show, he is very feeble. Like, it's like this guy's on his last leg. But
if you go back to like season 6, which was probably 10, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, to where he is now, he looks like he's aged 40 years.
That's why they put them in the ugly section at the restaurant. What was interesting about Richard Lewis, his type of comedy was he was the creator of the Mother from Hell. Was it that? Like the Mother-in-Law from Hell or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But it's interesting to say Artie Lang, who's a dirty comic, was the comedian on Howard Stern for so long. Somebody asked him what comedian that wanted you to get in the business. Once you saw this comedian, he said 100% Richard Lewis. I don't know why, but when I saw him do an HBO special, that after loving Red Fox and all these dirty comedians, I loved Richard Lewis, and he's the one that got me I want to start doing comedy.
See, I just never liked his stand-up. Like, I thought he was great.
Self-deprecation is Richard
Lewis.
Where everything was like this, and the delivery was like this, and my life is miserable.
But he's in the rest of the series, right?
Oh,
they've already shot it.
Oh, yeah,
so,
they've already shot it, yeah. Yeah, him and that's right, Funkhauser, Super Dave. Is gone too. So these guys are dropping like flies. Larry David looks good for 75.
Well, because he's looked like that for the whole he let go of that hair. I mean, it's just I love he just wears a blazer and khakis. That's it. And simple shoes.
Have you seen the videos of Super Dave in the car with Jerry Seinfeld? What is it? Comedians in Cars?
Comedians in Cars getting coffee.
And he'll just always start. Super Dave always says, I got a joke for you. And Seinfeld just immediately breaks up. And it's always these long, I mean, I love some Super Dave Osborne. That guy was hilarious. I used to love him when he was a kid. He would when I was a kid, he would come on Letterman in that.
Did you ever watch a show called Bizarre on Showtime? So it was a sketch comedy, and I forgot who the head guy was of Bizarre.
That's where I was going to ask what show he was on when I was young.
Well, that's when he wore the Evil Knievel outfit and did a bunch of spoofs and stuff. But I used to watch Bizarre as a kid.
Yeah, and Letterman would always make fun of him, and Super Dave would always, he played straight the whole time, and he was always Letterman was always, this is not a real character, and he would get so offended. It was awesome.
What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean, Dave? This is not real. I actually, I'm hurt that
actually shoot myself out of a cannon tomorrow down at Times Square.
It's such a funny
it's
character.
An obvious dummy. It's so bad.
See, I told you, the dummy's just flopping through the air. Yeah. God, that was such a good character.
Entertainment greats. Richard Lewis passing away yesterday. All right, 14 playoff in the next 14-team playoff. Buckle up. It's interesting coming up in the next segment. But real quickly. One thing that came away from yesterday, and we'll talk more about it later on, but Cut 4 Rockstar, Kalen DeBoer had this to say on our show. And I'm amazed at instant reaction that if you go and just read the comments on our YouTube, on Twitter, there were a lot of people live tweeting the show from different formats that follow Alabama football. And when they started live tweeting the wording of what Kalen DeBoer says here, the reaction from Alabama fans, some of them was, oh no, we've got a guy who's not going to be hard on the players. Here's Kalen DeBoer yesterday.
I mean, there's a fire, don't get me wrong. There's a fire, and there's a competitiveness that, the guys see. I think they see that already in the workouts, and they feel that in how we, meet in team meetings and, the standard that exists. It's still the same standard. It's just messaged a different way, I think. And I don't know. I just feel like, you are who you are. And for me, finding ways to positively reinforce. I mean, obviously there's a piece like you're kind of bringing up. There's a discipline moment or things like that. That still happens, but how do you message that, and how do you deliver, and how do you work together with these guys for the players to understand that, hey, I'm fighting the same fight you are. I want the same things you want. We all want for you individually, and we want for our team to be great. That just comes through. Continue to be there to support them and help get them corrected. We talk about our coaches' jobs are to teach, critique, and demand. And so we're teaching, we're being critical of them, and we're demanding excellence and demanding as much as close to perfection as that we can. And their jobs are to grind, refine, and compete. And so the guys are grinding, they're refining their skills, and they're competing to be the best they can.
You can be a tough coach without cussing. You don't have to cuss. And that all came off of the fact that Lance asked him about cussing, that he doesn't cuss or rarely cusses or nobody hears him cussing.
Yeah, I think it's nobody. I mean, the way I took it after asking the question and he answered it kind of in a long way, I take it, look, I speak like a lot of adults, but I don't necessarily do it in certain places.
Yeah.
But there are different ways of coaching, and you don't have to chew ass all the time to be a hard coach.
I loved the reaction to this because it's like, oh, God, everything's, you can't do that at Alabama. Nick says the exact opposite way Nick Saban's doing it. I'm like, the dude's 104-12. So it's hard for me to believe that style can win 104 games and only lose 12. But by God, once you get to Alabama, it ain't going to work that way. I mean, why do you think that? I don't know if Kalen DeBoer would be successful or not. But he's 104-12 doing it that way.
Yeah, so why would you not do it the way that you've always done it? And that's why I think Kalen DeBoer is going to be successful, because this is the best job he's ever had, and he has been successful everywhere. I mean, he was talking about coaching, JV baseball. Yep. And, he was successful there. The problem, and I don't know if it's a problem, but if he does lose a couple of games, then, the narrative is going to be, well, boy, I mean, this is what you get for letting the next round guys in the facility. Yeah. Well, this guy should have been focused on film.
Well, you don't get on him enough.
I don't know about that, but getting on him enough is what they were talking about yesterday.
By the way, it's what they were talking about Saban this year.
Yeah.
And the last 2 years is he doesn't get on the players enough.
But, and this was my big takeaway point of this, if you watch the Patriots documentary on Bill Belichick and Brady the final years, what did you hear? You heard the players saying it was miserable to go to work. I'd sit in my car and dread going into the football facility because Bill Belichick had become such an ogre. the modern day athlete with freedom of movement and stuff like that you have in college athletics, I don't think you can chew their ass out and grind them like you used to 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago. There'll never be a junction again. And there's a reason why, because players can leave. And Nick Saban saw that. And Nick Saban changed the way he was coaching near the end. So to think that this guy, because he's not going to come out and drop MF on the guys every practice, doesn't mean that he can't be a good coach.
I would love to see, you guys remember the show Punk that Ashton Kutcher had? It was kind of a candid camera for the old school people out there. But can you imagine if you loaded up your kids and told them you were going to a Junction City?
Yeah.
And just, no, I'm not going, Coach.
Yeah.
No. You stop the bus right here.
You may get water tonight at 5 o'clock.
Do you think one person would go on that trip?
They came back then with like 17, didn't they?
That's right. And that was pre-portal.
Yeah, you'd come back today with 0, trust me.
There'll be the bus driver, maybe the bus driver.
Pre-portal is like, what are my options? I'm going to war, I'm going to go in the military, or I'm going to Junction. You know what? I'm going to go to the military.
Yeah, I'll give that military thing a
Or go
try.
back and work on the farm. Hello, farm. Dr. B and our friends at Precision Sports take us to break. We'll talk about the 14-team playoff, which picked up a lot of steam yesterday. But first, the guy that made LT's hair pick up steam.
Yeah, hey, look, if you've got a friend out there thinning a little bit, be the good friend, pat him on the back and say, hey, look, I know a guy you need to call. Dr. Beckenstein is that guy. Be preemptive, 205-319-0316. When I went to see Dr. B, the hair started thinning out. Since I went for that initial meeting, my hair has more than doubled in thickness. All I'm doing is 3 non-invasive treatments, 30 minutes each time on the couch per week, and again, the hair has more than doubled in thickness. For more than 20 years, women and men turn to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. Beckenstein today, 205-319-0316, 205-319-0316, or T3hair.net.
And our friends at Precision Sports, listen, if you've tweaked anything, some of you got in the yard on Saturday, starting to get it ready for spring and summer. First time all winter, cleaned out flower beds and trimmed some, what's those bushes you trim, trees you trim all the time?
The crepe myrtles.
Yeah.
You didn't crepe myrtle, did you?
I did not. I don't have them anymore, but I used to. And sometimes I'd tweak a shoulder or a back or something up on a ladder. If you do that, Precision Sports Medicine can get you back into your games. Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Care, they are the provider that gets you back into work and into play, whether it's pickleball or pickup basketball that's got you on the shelf. 205-512-3885, 205-512-3885, or precisionsportsortho.com/2024. precisionsportsortho.com/2024. Let these folks be your orthopedic care provider. Orthopedic care better together with precisionsportsortho.com/2024.
Follow Sean Lunsford on Twitter @JLuntz.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Sports fans, Alabama State Senate will soon decide if you get the right to vote on a lottery, casinos, and sports betting. But they need to hear from you. Did you know Alabama is one of only 12 states where you can't legally bet on sports? House Bill 151 allows you to choose whether you can place a bet on the big game this weekend. Call your state senator today. Tell them to vote yes on the lottery and gaming bill. For more information, go to sportsbettingalliance.org. It's paid for by the Sports Betting Alliance. Again, sportsbettingalliance.org.
Tournament time is almost here, but any time is a great time to jump on with MyBookie.ag. When you sign up at MyBookie.ag, use code NEXTROUND for a special sign-on bonus. You can use that bonus right away. Win once with it, it is yours and yours forever. Not like some of the sites that make you win 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times before you keep the bonus. You win once at MyBookie.ag, it is yours forever. Basketball tournaments, NBA, the start of Major League Baseball, NASCAR, and golf. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
You got to look your best to play your best, and our friends at Bandwagon can help your team find the perfect uniforms for that upcoming season. Bandwagon is with you every step of the way, from developing your team logo design to choosing from their multitude of samples. You name the sport, they can make it happen. To get your uniform journey started, you can shoot them a message on any social media platform or check out their website, bandwagonsports.com. That's bandwagonsports.com. Next round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Changing college football playoff format, not for this year, but for 2026. In just a second, we'll look at that through the eyes of Michelson Laser Vision, the folks that changed LT's eyesight a couple of decades ago now.
Yeah, make that phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation, 0 to lose, to find out if LASIK is right for you. Make 2024 be the year of sight for you. If you're wasting money on the contacts, wasting money on the glasses, I know, I'm speaking from experience. I did the same for about a decade. Finally got the procedure done. 2015 vision, better than 2020. Call 205-969-8100. Again, ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with the pre-inflation pricing. For more information on Dr. Mark Michelson and Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business, MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Did you ever wear glasses?
You know what? I bought a pair of glasses at one particular time, but I never wore them.
But you never wore them.
Yeah, I never wore them. And then I finally, like years after that, finally wore contacts. Contacts were a pain in the ass. I was one of those guys, I'd go to sleep with contact in, which is so bad for the eye. Have you ever had contacts?
I have not. So you would just put in one eye, your contacts?
No, you put them in both.
Okay.
But, you know, instead of fishing them out and putting them back in the little container, I'd just be, I'm going to sleep in them.
Yeah, it's bad for you, right?
Oh, yeah.
That is not good.
No oxygen to the eye.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
You don't want that.
So here we go. Last week, these guys, when I was out, talked about the SEC and the Big Ten virtually demanding that they have more automatic bids than everyone else moving forward. They are going to be the bigger conferences with the better quality teams than anyone else. In fact, the current format that we're going this year, the 12-team, we feel like all the at-large bids will be SEC and Big Ten. So this isn't a far stretch, but here is the proposal with some details that will come. A little T with this graphic. Starting in 2026, and this has picked up steam even from the ACC and the Big 12, and you may be surprised by this. 3 auto bids for the SEC, 3 auto bids for the Big 10, 2 auto bids for the ACC, 2 auto bids for the Big 12. You think to yourself instantly, why am I going to get less than them?
Why, Jim?
More on that in a second. 1 auto bid for the group of 5 who will sign on for this because it keeps them into the game into the future.
They keep getting checks.
1 auto bid for Notre Dame if they're in the top 14 in the college football playoff rankings. And if not, then you get 3 at-large bids. If Notre Dame eats up one of those bids, there's 2 at-large bids, which most people feel like in this scenario would go to another SEC and Big Ten team. So a 14-team playoff there, which guarantees an extra auto bid for the ACC and the Big 12. That's the way I see this, Brown, that it's if I'm the ACC and the Big 12, the reason I'm excited about this is it guarantees me 2 in each of the playoffs. Moving forward, whether it's 12 or 8 or 4, or 12 or 14 or 16, if you're not guaranteeing me access in the ACC and the Big 12, I feel like it's going to be eaten up by the SEC and the Big 10.
I don't like this.
Why do you not like it?
Well, because sometimes you're going to get bad teams in the college football playoff. I would rather, hey, let's take a look at this and let's put I know automatic qualifiers from each conference.
So you're
going to
be
multiple.
You're going to be the 14 best team guy.
Yeah,
I would like it that way. I agree with Lance. I've never even liked one automatic.
let's just go back less than 5 years ago. There was a time that Clemson was the best team in the ACC, and Virginia, with 5 losses, was the second best team. Do we want to see a 5-loss Virginia team in this college football playoff?
That was because of divisions, though, right?
Not having divisions does minimize it.
No, but I'm saying they were the second best record in the ACC that year was 9-5.
Yeah, I just if we're going to do just the best,
and how about we focus on 12? How about we get this right?
We haven't done that.
I just can't even believe how rapidly this thing is going.
Well, this is typical college sports, just ready or fire ready aim, right?
Yeah, that's because you guys have discussed it. We've discussed it for years now. This college football playoff is only guaranteed for 2 years, so this is the future, 2026 and on, to guarantee that a college football playoff sticks around. If we're just going the best, in this case, 14 teams, as you say, or the best 12 teams, then we really don't have to go that deep. We could just say the best 8, or as we've been doing, the best 4. We don't really, if we're not going to have automatic qualifiers, then we don't need to go to 12 or to 14.
Yeah, but why would we go to 12 or 14 if we're not having the best teams? That makes no sense.
Well, the best teams are always opinionated, right? That's up to a ranking at that point.
Well, I don't think
when you're playing automatic bids, then it doesn't matter if the ACC may have 3 great teams in one year, and we're going to say, but they beat each other up, and that's what we're going to get to with the SEC and the Big Ten. I mean, we're talking about whose schedule is it? Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma and Alabama, I think, have the 2 toughest SEC schedules next year, in this upcoming year. This is leaving open a way to play your way through some losses and to automatically get in. I mean, if we're just going the top X number of teams, the best 14, the best 12, we probably don't need to go that deep. We probably should just go to 8.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm just saying if you do go best teams, every game's going to matter that much more.
I mean, I think most of the time when you go best teams, it's probably going to look a lot like this. Most of the time.
Most of the time.
And when it doesn't, the argument is going to be at 12, 13, 14, somewhere in there. Like, oh, really? Like, Louisville just happened to win that one game. They're that much better than Oklahoma. I mean, that's where your argument's going to be. It's not going to be at the top. It's going to be, down at the bottom. I get all that. But I'm like Lance. I know why the conferences don't want to do the 14 best teams. But as a fan, I want the 14 best teams.
Yeah.
But now, again, that becomes subjective, Lance. I mean, because they're going to keep the committee. This is not going to be some sort of, even the rankings, though, people had trouble
So
with.
How many are we talking about the Big Ten getting?
3.
3 for the Big Ten, 3 for the SEC, and then you're still eligible for the 2 or 3 at-large bids, which I think will always go to an SEC and a Big Ten.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, this year you had Michigan, Washington, and Oregon, if we're going Big Ten coming up this year. That means Ohio State wouldn't have got an automatic bid. They were an 11-win top 10 team.
They would have gotten an at-large very easily.
At-large easy.
They're in, but you're right. They don't get an auto bid.
Yeah. And see, that's how tough the league's going to be.
Yeah, I still think if we go from 12, we need to go to 16.
Yeah, I'm with Lance. The thing I don't like about this most is that we've still got those 2 dangling teams right there.
The 2 buys.
The 2 buys. We don't.
Yeah,
well,
16,
again,
you can play 2 first-round on-campus games.
We frequently compare this to the NFL. It doesn't bother me in the NFL, so I don't know why it would bother me in college. I guess I just need to get used to it.
How many playoff teams are in the NFL?
14,
and there are 2 buys. I mean, it's the exact model. Yeah.
And by the way, the model I saw, the 2 buys always go to the SEC champion and the Big Ten champion.
I do not like that.
Which does what again? It puts a priority on that championship game that the SEC and the Big Ten loves. There's a reason why to win that game now.
Yeah, but this year it would have gone to Michigan and Washington. It would have gone Pac-12 and Big Ten.
Yeah, but Pac-12 doesn't exist. We're talking about going forward.
I know, but I'm just saying it's not always going to go to the SEC and the Big Ten.
Moving forward in the model I saw, it would be mandated.
Yeah, it's mandated.
The SEC champion would have one bye, the Big Ten champion would have the other bye, and then the rest of the field. And the ACC and the Big 12 would sign off on that.
I know.
To
get the extra
guarantee that
teams.
they've got 2 spots.
I know.
So basically, the SEC and the Big Ten have held them over the barrel.
And how dumb is that going to be if Clemson ever bounces back and we see another dominant 12-0 Clemson
and Dabo
team?
says, I don't get the bye. And they're like, yeah, let us explain to you why you don't get the bye.
And then you've got a 2-loss Alabama that wins the SEC.
I don't get the buy, but you got this new indoor practice facility for all the money we made.
But by the way, if that model holds up, it guarantees an ACC in the Big 12 in the future. And if you end up pissing off the SEC and the Big 10, you know what doesn't exist in the future?
ACC and Big 12 necessarily.
The ACC.
Yep, that's a good point.
I don't know about the Big 12. Auburn's on the practice field, and they're talking today. We'll talk to a guy who doesn't have to talk to anybody, who gets the inside information, Justin Hokanson, Auburn Live. He joins us next on the show. That's being brought to you by a couple of great folks. One of them, our friends at Gutter Cap. LT, tell us about Gutter Cap.
Yeah, basketball has its madness in March, but homeowners who clean their gutters have it all year long. Eliminate your gutter cleaning madness forever with Gutter Cap. Call my good friend Chris Stewart, 205-823-2212. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau for 2 decades and on the board of directors. Gutter Cap is a patented aluminum cover system, fits over most existing gutters, eliminates that dangerous job of getting on a ladder, cleaning out your gutters. Right now, 45% off the retail price for March Madness. Call 205-823-2212 or guttercapbirmingham.com. Cap it, don't snap it, it's Gutter Cap.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, listen, men's health as you get older becomes very important. Hoke knows this now because he's over 25 years old. Sometimes you got to keep check on all your health needs. Early detection is important. That's why UCA has 35 urologists on hand at 16 locations throughout the state of Alabama. Treat all your urological needs from prostate health to kidney stones and everything in between. Visit urologycentersalabama.com, urologycentersalabama.com to schedule your appointment today.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemp Hill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention The Next Round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemp Hill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com.
Let me introduce you to the new line of Red Wing athletic work shoes. This great new line is perfect for the industrial athlete, the guy who is working on concrete or running through the warehouse all day long. Red Wing Athletics use the same technology found in a running shoe with soft mesh uppers, a lightweight aluminum toe for protection, and non-slip soles. This shoe is a winner. This comfortable new line of safety shoes are perfect for warehousing and light manufacturing. Plus, the colors look great. Stop by your local Red Wing shoe store, have your feet measured, and test drive a new pair of Red Wing athletic work shoes.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Sports fans, Alabama State Senate will soon decide if you get the right to vote on a lottery, casinos, and sports betting. But they need to hear from you. Did you know Alabama is one of only 12 states where you can't legally bet on sports? House Bill 151 allows you to choose whether you can place a bet on the big game this weekend. Call your state senator today. Tell them to vote yes on the lottery and gaming bill. For more information, go to sportsbettingalliance.org. It's paid for by the Sports Betting Alliance. Again, sportsbettingalliance.org. Did you know that colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in America and that it affects men and women equally? If you're older than 45, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, please visit us. Go to rumpshakerinc.org. Also, 6th Annual Rump Shaker 5K coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. You can register online, rumpshakerinc.org.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Interesting quarterback room. Upgrade at receiver, maybe the best receiving core Auburn's had in a long, long time. That with Justin Hokanson after LT tells us about Hemphill.
Yeah, make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep up with this changing weather in the 40s today, 205. We go to hemphillservices.com. hemphillservices.com. Hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemphill Services, they can hook you up right now. Trusted name, Birmingham has trust since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. hemphillservices.com.
All right, Justin Hokanson with us. Auburn Live, part of On3 Sports, the fastest growing, at least last time I heard, fastest growing website at On3 Sports. If not, I think Hoke needs to advertise that and say as declared by the next round. What is up, Hoke? How are you?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Doing awesome. Thanks a lot. A lot going on. Auburn started spring yesterday. And listen, you always default to quarterback just about any spring. And I don't anticipate that anything would happen at the top spot with Peyton Thorne coming out of this. But what do you think a depth chart might look like behind him at the end of spring practice?
I think that's probably more interesting than Peyton Thorne in the spring. I mean, I think Peyton Thorne has got room to get better for sure, but I think it's more intriguing who pushes Peyton Thorne, whether that's Holden Gerner, Hank Brown, who played well in the bowl game and Hugh Freeze thinks a lot of, and then Walker White's in there, really talented, but a true freshman thrown into the mix. There's a big learning curve there, and so as good as he potentially could be, I'm not sure what you can expect. I think it's intriguing between Holden Gerner and Hank Brown, who steps up and maybe becomes the second best quarterback, and then can that guy get better spring, summer, and then can that guy push in the fall? Because once you get in the fall, the reps are so limited at quarterback, right? So whoever that two is going to be sort of the guy splitting reps with Peyton, or not splitting, but getting more reps in the fall. So I think it's more interesting between Holden and Hank, who steps up, because for Holden, it's kind of do or die. Like, it's time for him to really take the steps and be the solid number two or not. Hank Brown's a really good player too. So I think that's sort of more intriguing. And then, of course, you want to see how Peyton progresses and gets better with some continuity there. But I think that battle at number two is intriguing for a lot of reasons.
You know, we had our friend Aaron Suttles on last summer, and he was talking about Alabama, kind of a preview, and he said, although he's never played in a college game, he said Caleb Downs might be the best player on this roster. Could you maybe make that argument with Cam Coleman?
Yeah, I actually thought about that yesterday. I was sort of listing out maybe the top 20, 25 players on the roster, and I was like, where do you put Cam? I don't know that I could put him up there yet, but after a game or two, that could change. Like, we could go, okay, this dude's everything he showed in high school. It's translating over, and he's an absolute impact player. I'm sort of one of those, until I see it, I'm not going to say he's the best player. I still think somebody like Jalen McLeod, who's really good, Connor Liu, could be fantastic. He could be one of the best players. So I think Coleman's up there, though. I mean, I think he's going to – I think by the middle of the season, you could look at it and go, is he the absolute best player? Maybe, maybe not. Is he one of the most important players? Yeah, just because of the position and what he's going to bring to that receiver position. But, man, he's a different dude. I mean, we saw him out there on Tuesday. We got a viewing session. It's just, he's one of those guys you walk out there and you look at and you go, all right, he's different. I mean, I don't even need to see a lot. You just, his height, his build, the way he moves, and you immediately see he's different. And then, of course, you saw what he did in high school. So I wouldn't say he's the best player yet. I mean, he just started. But by the middle of the season, could we look out there and say Cam Coleman's the best player on the team? Would that shock me? No, wouldn't shock me.
In your conversations with Hugh Freeze, both on the microphone and off, how important was it for him to change the way that wide receiver room looked after year one?
Oh, I mean, it's huge. I mean, I remember him talking last year about the receiver position, especially in the SEC. I mean, the margin to get open, to really create separation against SEC corners is hard. Even the great ones, like there's just not a lot. It takes something really special to really create enough separation and to be able to make plays and the quarterback deliver the football and complete passes downfield and that kind of stuff. And so I think reshaping that room was everything. Cam Coleman's a big part of that. Robert Lewis from Georgia State's a guy that can get open. Perry Thompson, who's not there yet, will arrive in the summer is a big physical target. Of course, Rivaldo is. He comes back. So I think just to get some people in there that, one, either have the speed and agility to get open in the middle of the field, but to have a big, long receiver where I have to get some separation, but the pass doesn't have to be perfect. It can be a little high, it can be a little to the outside. But somebody like Cam Coleman or Perry Thompson can make a tough catch in traffic is everything in the SEC. Man, it's huge, especially if you're not going to have, if you don't have a top 10 quarterback or an offensive line that's the best offensive line in the country. Like, you got to create advantages, and having those big receivers is just massive in the SEC. And hopefully that's what Cam Coleman is. So it doesn't have to be a pinpoint perfect pass every time. That's a guy that, a pass is a little off, but Cam makes it look good, or Perry Thompson makes it look good, or Rivaldo Fairweather, or somebody that can really create separation.
Justin Hokanson with us, Auburn Live, part of On3 Sports, @_J Hokanson on Twitter is where you follow him. Most intriguing new assistant to you is who? And I guess I should say why when you tell me who the most intriguing one is. I know you were big on Kent Austin and what you thought he might could do with those quarterbacks, but I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I mean, you got Durkin in. Charles Kelly's sort of been around, going to coach the safeties. Derek Nix is intriguing, I guess, from the standpoint of he's got a long history of coaching running backs at Ole Miss. He just recently coached receivers there. So his resume is running backs, which is what he's going to do at Auburn. I think he's intriguing just because he is co-offensive coordinator, and I'm curious to what extent is his role in coordinating the offense, to what extent is his role going to be in calling plays. He's never done that before. He's been around offense, and I think he'll bring a lot to the table, but we also know that Hugh Freeze wants to take back over play calling. So we talked to Hugh Freeze later today, and I think it'll be interesting. What is Derek Nix's role in game planning? What will his role be on game days calling plays? 'Cause DJ Durkin's coordinated a defense. He's coached linebackers before. A lot of those guys are but Nix coordinating the offense, or at least being a co-coordinator, is sort of the new one. That's a guy that he's stepping into something he's never done before. I think he's prepared to do it, but he's never done a lot of that. So I think what exactly is his role? Game planning, and what exactly will his role be on Saturdays, I think is really intriguing. I think the benefit there is he's been with Hugh Freeze before, so it should be a seamless transition terminology and concept-wise and what they're trying to accomplish. But I think what does Derek Nix bring to the table as a co-coordinator is interesting to me.
And you mentioned Derek Nix as a running backs coach, too. With Jarquez coming back, I would assume he's obviously your favorite to lead this team in rushing if he stays healthy. But if I say Jarquez is not going to be your leading rusher, someone else is, who would that guy be?
Oh, man. I would lean Damari Alston. If Damari Alston's a really good player. He got hurt last year in the A&M game and missed a few games and kind of got out of sorts a little bit. Jeremiah Cobb's really interesting too. He's a guy that when he was in last year, he flashed. But Jeremiah Cobb was a guy that would have a good game and flash, and then he'd disappear for 2 or 3 games. Not necessarily his own fault. He wouldn't be a part of the game plan and get carries. Jeremiah Cobb's got, in terms of ceiling, his ceiling is the highest. It's higher than Jarquez. It's higher than Damari. Jeremiah Cobb's got real special talent. And I'm curious to see if a light switch comes on with him. Does he take a big jump and push somebody like Damari or Batty? Does he push for the number 2 spot spring, summer, come next fall? Is Jeremiah Cobb all of a sudden a guy that he's got to get touches every game no matter what? I think he could be. So right now I would lean Damari Alston just because of experience, but Jeremiah Cobb is one to watch. What kind of jump can he make? Because he's got great vision. He's got great speed. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's got a lot to offer. It's just, does he pick up blitzes? Does he not miss assignments? And that kind of stuff that makes him trustworthy to be put on the field.
Speaking of big jumps, Hugh Freeze is recruiting his way out of a roster deficit, but he can't do it in one class. And we know the 5 stars that have come in at receiver and some of the other great players that have come in. Which unit has to really improve in these 15 practices that maybe they just haven't recruited their way out of yet, that unit just has to get better with the guys they have on campus, and that'll be key to them having a good year? Which unit are you watching that has to get better right now?
I think it's the defensive line. Marcus Harris was fantastic last year. He's gone. And so that's the position where I'm looking at, and you go, okay, you brought in Trill Carter from Texas, Gage Keys from Kansas. Gage Keys wasn't super productive, but he's got a great frame, great potential, You feel like he could be a good fit in the system. You got somebody like Bobby Travis that's coming back that you got from JUCO last year. Darren Reed is a really talented player that played a little bit last year. And so Jason Jones is coming back. He's a guy that you rely on to be sort of an anchor. But right now, I don't see a stud at defensive line. I see some potential, and I see there's some bodies. I think depth-wise, they'll be okay in terms of throwing bodies out there. But do you have a difference maker like Marcus Harris was? That's sort of what I'm looking for. I think the secondary's got a lot of good young talent. You've got Asante and Keys coming back at linebacker. I would maybe go receiver as well as that position that's got to step up, but I think there's some potential there. But defensive line, you win in the trenches in the SEC, and that defensive line is sort of where I'm looking at. Does somebody step up, and can somebody be a stud? And if not, do you have three or four guys that are all pretty good that contribute, that when rotated can be productive? So that's kind of the position that I'm looking at, as they got to make strides, because if you're not solid in the defensive line, you're struggling.
All right, he is Justin Hokanson, and as he said, Hugh Freeze talks to the media today, so Hoke will have some reaction to that, @_J Hokanson and Auburn Live, part of On3 Sports, to see what the Auburn coach says after a couple days of spring there and what he has seen. Hoke, thank you very much for the time, man. Enjoy it.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy, take care. Hoke with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. And remember, a reminder, the Johnston RV, today is the final day of February, and Johnston RV is giving you a chance to still get RV show pricing even today. Even though the RV show is long over in Birmingham, you can still get RV show pricing. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator, and always online, JohnstonRVCenter.com. Now, don't forget the great discount they give to our active duty and retired military personnel. We talked about it earlier with the passing of Tim's father, a great American hero who served us in Vietnam. Listen, at Johnston RV Center, you know how we feel on this show about the men and women in the military and those who have served. They feel the same way at Johnston RV. They give you a great discount. Just ask them when you're there, whether you're retired or active duty. Great discount to go see this great country of ours that you have helped defend there in an RV from Johnston RV Center. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator, and always online at JohnstonRVCenter.com. This seems like an eternity away, but it will get here before you know it. We have the lineup for SEC Media Days already.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Can you believe that?
And here it is.
We won't know players yet, but Scott is showing you the coaches lineup at least. We know the schools and the coaches. Players will be announced much later.
So almost 5 months away.
Yeah, isn't that nuts? July 15th in Dallas this year. Don't forget. Day one, Brian Kelly, Lane Kiffin, Shane Beamer, Clark Lee on a Monday. Day two, the Tuesday, is Kirby Smart, Eli Drinkwitz, Brent Venables, Josh Heupel. Day four, Alabama's Kalen DeBoer, Florida's Billy Napier, Jeff Lebby from State and Texas, Steve Sarkisian. And then day four, Thursday, Sam Pittman, Hugh Freeze, Mark Stoops, and Mike Elko. That's your lineup.
Give me your top three most difficult to talk to.
What are you grimacing about that?
My first thought is that they've kept Alabama. It wasn't
same
Alabama,
spot.
Alabama's sort of usually the third day, right?
Third day. Nick Saban has always been morning session third day as long as I can remember. And Auburn, Scott will have to correct me on this because I know he's been to a lot, but I seem to remember Auburn always anchoring that last day.
That getaway day. I don't think so. I don't think Auburn's usually the getaway
Am
day.
I wrong about that, Scott?
I always thought
Do you
Auburn's
remember?
like day two.
I think they bounce around.
I don't know that it's been consistently one place, but they have definitely been on that last day.
They've been on the getaway day before?
Yeah, I can't ever recall Alabama on the getaway.
No, I think that, Scott, am I right about that? Do I remember Saban early on day three has been his spot for years?
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of their niche.
I don't know why they do that, but early day three has been where Alabama has been a lot.
We're in Dallas, so you got Alabama and Texas on the same day.
That's a pretty good day.
Yeah,
Wednesday's a big day.
Where's the bigger crowd? Where does it revolve around? Anyway, I think there's going to be three coaches that are going to be difficult to get to. I think the others are going to be very accessible.
You think Sark?
Yep. Sark, now that he's had a little success.
Kirby, now that he's had a lot of success. Yeah.
And Kiffin.
No, I would go Brian Kelly.
Yeah, I was going to say Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
Well, your love for Brian Kelly is through the roof. Lane Kiffin's just got television. It's just good television.
How
Lane
does
Kiffin,
it
will be a
Kiffin's hoping
zoo.
a couple of chicks see him on TV. How does that like show my love for Kelly to say
he
he's going to
included
be?
Sark in the group.
Yeah, but in every conversation, I mean, where does LSU deserve to be in the conversation?
No,
with
that's kind of a dick topic, being inaccessible to the media.
Yeah.
That's what inaccessible. I thought biggest crowd around.
No. Oh, okay.
Okay. I misunderstood the question.
Yeah.
I was talking about the biggest crowd around them. I thought would be Kirby, would be Sark, and would be Lane Kiffin because of the storylines. That's where I was going. The biggest storylines. Can I see the list again? If I can. This is SEC Media Days coming up. Is it the week of July 17th? I know that, out in Dallas. And we look forward to being out there. We'll be at the Omni Hotel there in Dallas is where this will take place.
Nice hotel.
It really is, with spacious ballroom access. So we look forward to being out there. But when you look at the list and see how they're all laid out, Brian Kelly, Lane Kiffin, Shane Beamer, Clark Lee, I wonder if that Monday will start at noon again, like we always do with the State of the Conference, or 11 a.m. And now with four coaches, it goes really deep into the night.
You know, I'm a little surprised. I thought this thing might go to 5 days with the added schools.
Yeah.
With going to 16 schools because of, like you said, you've got Greg Sankey. You've got some other things they do. I really thought they might stretch this thing to a full week.
I'm glad we kept it at 4 days.
Trust me, I am too.
Yeah. We look forward to being out there for the coverage. Day 2, Kirby, Eli, Brent, and Josh. Oklahoma, I guess, has a big following in the state of Texas and Dallas, but Georgia, of course, got a national draw. But that's the weaker of the days for me. Is day 2.
I feel like they give you a headliner and an also ran every day, though. I mean, I know they wouldn't say that, but they really do.
An A, and a B.
Yeah, and now, I mean, with the new state of the conference, they can give you multiple A's on one day, and then they'll give you some B's.
Yeah. Interesting. SEC Media Days not far away, coming up in mid-July out in Dallas. We look forward to continuing our road coverage there. When it comes to college football, when we come back, we'll talk more football and what we learned yesterday from Kane Womack, the Alabama defensive coordinator, and we'll do 4 downs in the next segment on the show that's being brought to you by our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. It's Greg from Pell City. You know the guy, right? Greg from Pell City, the guy who's been for a long time helping you with your roof. Whether it's just a free no-cost roof inspection where he gets up there and tells you if you've got any roof problem at all. 205-542-3531. 205-542-3531 for the free no-cost roof inspection. What you can find out in that free no-cost roof inspection: loose shingle can cause you water entry problems or anything else up there. He'll take care of it for you. Look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City. Replace his roof if it's aged out, or you absolutely can do storm damage with Greg as well. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. Works great with insurance companies. 205-542-3531 or Storm Restoration Roofing with Greg from Pell City.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
It's that time of year again. The Legacy Swap and Drop promotion is back. It's bigger than ever. Swap your current auto loan or RV loan to Legacy and drop your interest rate and monthly payment. Don't miss out on this opportunity to save big with our friends at Legacy Credit Union. Not a member yet? That's okay. You too can save by becoming a member today. Head over to swapanddrop.com. Apply in minutes. That's swapanddrop.com, or visit one of their 9 greater Birmingham area branches. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Let me introduce you to the new line of Red Wing athletic work shoes. This great new line is perfect for the industrial athlete, the guy who is working on concrete or running through the warehouse all day long. Red Wing Athletics use the same technology found in a running shoe, with soft mesh uppers, a lightweight aluminum toe for protection, and non-slip soles. This shoe is a winner. This comfortable new line of safety shoes are perfect for warehousing and light manufacturing. Plus, the colors look great. Stop by your local Red Wing shoe store, have your feet measured, and test drive a new pair of Red Wing athletic work shoes.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine prepared fresh daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with Walk-Ons.
Did you know that colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in America and that it affects men and women equally? If you're older than 45, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, please visit us. Go to rumpshakerinc.org. Also, 6th annual Rump Shaker 5K coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. You can register online, rumpshakerinc.org. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
You got to look your best to play your best, and our friends at Bandwagon can help your team find the perfect uniforms for that upcoming season. Bandwagon is with you every step of the way, from developing your team logo design to choosing from their multitude of samples. You name the sport, they can make it happen. To get your uniform journey started, you can shoot them a message on any social media platform or check out their website, bandwagonsports.com. That's bandwagonsports.com. Next Round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon. Back with you on The Next Round. More on our trip yesterday to Tuscaloosa and what we talked about with the guys, the coaches at Alabama, and some follow-up that we didn't have time to do yesterday, and 4 downs in this segment, being brought to you in part by our friends at Redmond Vodka LT.
8 times distilled, gluten-free. Pick up a bottle today. Locally owned and operated. Charles Barkley, one of the great faces behind it. Available in 22 states. If you're at a local bar or restaurant, ask for it by name. If they don't have it, tell them to get it. It is Redmont Vodka.
More on the great Tennessee win over Auburn last night and Alabama's win over Ole Miss in the big game coming up. Alabama and Tennessee for first place on Saturday with Dalen Cuff. That's coming up at the top of the hour. The ESPN analyst will be back with us at the top of the hour. But right now, Rockstar, if you can give me cut number 8. I think a lot of people caught on to this yesterday and had some thoughts about this. And I want to let you listen again, guys, and then you guys talk about the relationship between defensive coordinator Kane Womack and Nick Saban, and your thoughts on what Nick Saban is providing for what used to be his program and helping the new coaching staff. Here is Kane Womack on our set yesterday inside the football athletic complex.
I was there at the signing day event, and you joked about how nervous you were going to be with you were going to teach, basically install your defense with Nick Saban. Has that happened yet?
It has happened. In fact, our second in-person meeting happened again this morning. So we're ripping and running through some of the
Were you late?
And all those things. I was promptly early. I certainly I told my wife I was like cramming for a final the night before, making sure that all my cut-ups and everything was ready to go for that meeting. But Coach has been awesome. I mean, he really he's been helpful. He's honest, gives me his real thoughts. I ask him real questions. I want to know this team, right? I want to know what he envisioned, what he built from a defensive perspective, obviously, and how to best kind of, take what was done the last 17 years and how they've evolved over 17 years to the point they are now, and how we best need to make that transition from a defensive scheme. There's a ton of carryover in what we do and what Coach Saban has done. My dad was a longtime defensive coordinator in the SEC. Dave Womack had great defenses, was kind of one of the originators of the 4-2-5 defense.
Right.
But we are a little bit more of a 3-4 nickel defense. that's really what Coach Saban has been the last few years, where they're able to move in and out of 4 down and 3-4. And so there's a lot of carryover, but I want to make sure that I kind of minimize, some of the things that our players are going to have to learn so that I can, understand their verbiage as well.
Yeah, I think that was the thing that was music to the ears of Alabama fans was because Kane and his dad have a reputation of the 4-2-5, which, the 3-4 nickel can turn in is basically sometimes a 4-2-5. You don't want to get too complicated, but what we do is a lot like Nick Saban has done here in the past, which is what Kirby Smart and Nick Saban did in the early years at Alabama. I think that was music to Alabama fans' ears, and also the fact that Nick is still there with Kane breaking down film.
That was my biggest takeaway when you went and hosted the signing day deal with all the coaches. Well, there were 2 takeaways. I'm Ryan Grubb, and I'm your offensive coordinator.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. That was takeaway number 1. That was most people's takeaway. My biggest takeaway, though, was Kane Womack saying that Nick Saban is learning my defense, so he knows the terminology so that when he and I sit down, we can better communicate about it. And I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, for a guy that just retired.
Yeah. I mean, but to know that he was going to be that involved, that he would sit down with an assistant and say, okay, let's go through this. And
you teach me your words so that I can.
That's right. I want to know your terminology so we can maximize the time we've got together so I can better communicate with you when I'm in there.
I'm here in a foreign country, but I want to learn your language so that we can communicate. And that was their second meeting already in person.
Yeah, I mean, what were they, 6 weeks into the job?
And that Kane had just walked in from that meeting with Nick Saban yesterday, the second meeting, in to do the interview with us. That's exactly where he had just come from, hanging out with Nick Saban, who's got his office and film room set up over at Bryant-Denny Stadium now, where Nick can break down tapes for his NFL draft work coming up, but also for his game day. He'll be able to drive from his Lake Tuscaloosa home into the office. And he's got all the technology set up in his office at Bryant-Denny that he had as the Alabama head coach for his ESPN broadcasting world. He'll have the same access to the tapes that he had as a head coach.
Well,
and
he's
also going to be breaking down Alabama game tape and Alabama practice tape to help the coaching staff.
Well, and I think that is going to be something that is going to be make Alabama fans relax a little bit more. I mean, Kane has been a defensive guy his entire life. Obviously, his father, a former defensive coordinator for years and years and years. But the one thing about Alabama, from when Kirby left, it didn't matter who the guy was taking over the defenses, from Jeremy Pruitt to Pete Golding to Kevin Steele. You still knew it was Nick Saban's defense. Now you get an offensive guy coming in Kalen DeBoer, and although you lose Ryan Grubb, you still feel pretty confident that Kalen DeBoer's fingerprints are going to be all over that offense. The one really unknown with this new regime is going to be on the defensive side of the ball, where you could always trust that Nick Saban was there. But for Nick Saban to have his fingerprints possibly on this defense, at least in some capacity, that's got to make Alabama fans feel a little bit better.
I mean, just imagine, though, if you're Kalen DeBoer and if you're Kane Womack and you're sitting there and you say, okay, on this play, I'm going to need this guy at this position to do this. And Nick Saban says he can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when you say, okay, if Nick Saban says he can't do it, I got to find another plan here. Or I need a guy that can do this or this. Oh, you need to look at this guy right here. He's got the skill set that can handle that. I mean, Nick Saban recruited that's what Kane is saying. He's like, he recruited these guys. He was building this defense. He knows their strengths and their weaknesses. Why would I not lean on that?
Well, and the 3-4 to the 4-3 is only a linebacker coming up and putting his hand on the ground, right? Alabama's had guys that have done that in the past already, or a safety who comes down and plays a rover as a linebacker. They've had Jordan Battle, they've had Mika Fitzpatrick, guys who could play multiple roles. Caleb Downs could do it last year. There are players that could do it. These are all nuances of defense that Alabama's personnel flow in and out of pretty easily.
Well, and Daniel made a point, and the chat's going extremely quick here, and Brown, maybe you can pull it back, talking about the terminology and how difficult it was on some players. That Aaron Suttles has brought this up before, the terminology from Nick Saban. We had this conversation with somebody yesterday about how you didn't necessarily think a guy was really that good in Tuscaloosa that looked lost and got beat a lot. But once they went to the NFL, when things got easier, they could focus more on, okay, this is what I've got to do. I've actually got to just cover this guy. And I don't have to worry about how complex this defense is. And so, not to say it's dumbed down, but you wonder if it's easier for these guys to understand.
Yeah, Daniel mentions the terminology, which at times was thought that could be an issue for some of the players.
Crippling for some because they couldn't mentally grasp it.
And Royal Payne says, remember when Jeremy Pruitt was the guy that convinced Saban it was too complicated?
That's right.
Let me dumb it down a little bit, and they had great success doing that.
Because we've got great athletes.
Yeah.
Let's don't hinder them by them having to think. Javier Arenas told me early in the Saban and Kirby Smart time that and this is why a guy like Gus Malzahn, who always had such great eye candy, Jimbo Fisher, could be a headache, is that when a guy would go in motion from one side of the field all the way through, Javier Arenas told me one time that every time he passed a certain zone, that our responsibilities, every position changed.
Yeah.
Boom, different. It's hard to get 11 people on the same page when you got to have 11 people reading that exactly the same way.
And that was really before guys would go in motion and cut back like that, right? Imagine now what that does to put you in conflict.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm with Lance. I'm fascinated more about Kane Womack and the defensive side of the ball than I am the offense. I've seen what not that I haven't seen what Kane could do defensively. He's been a good defensive coach, but I've seen on an elite high level what Kalen DeBoer's offense has done. The whole thing's fascinating to me. I don't know why I'm trying to single one out. It's a fascinating changeover.
You can get all of our content if you missed it yesterday on our platform over on YouTube and everywhere else you get podcasts, including Spotify and Apple. Multiple screens there as we talked with Kalen DeBoer on the top. Over on the right side is Kane Womack sitting down, and the younger guy in the crimson and gray at the bottom left, that is Nick Sheridan. He is your offensive coordinator. All of that is up, those interviews, and soon to come, Little T went on a special tour with the crew around the Alabama facilities. You'll get that out and about maybe sometime today. You can keep that, and like and subscribe wherever you pull up our stuff today. At Next Round Live on any social media platform at Next Round Live. Remember, subscribe, like, follow, and give us the thumbs up. We appreciate that so much. All right, it is time now for Four Downs. Rockstar gives us that every Thursday. A little unique non-sports look is brought to you by Slice, which gives you a wonderful lunch every day.
You can get that slice and a salad right now at the 4 locations of Slice Pizza and Brew. That is the original in Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, coming soon to Homewood. Local pizza, local ingredients. Get and see the Majalia Brothers. Tell them the Next Round sent you to check out that full menu right now and to see the great carry-out options as well. Go to slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
You are in a room with 100 random people. You have to be better than all of them at something to win $1 million. What are you doing?
Oh, man, I think I've got 3 things that I could actually take down any 100 people in. I would start first with my celebrity birthdays. At least the age of celebrities.
Yeah, you're really good at that. Yeah, especially if they gave you the 3-year window like we do. I think you'd be hard to beat.
Feel confident of that. Pictures of random, character actors throughout the last 4 or 5 decades in film and television.
Yeah, you're good at that.
And then I think 80s music. I think, the year, the song, and the artist. I think I'd be really good at that. So I would feel good. One of those 3, I could win $1 million.
People who have ever been in my kitchen. No, for me, it would be defunct USA sports franchises.
Yeah, you are good at that. Yeah.
The name of those franchises.
Yeah, Dunaway can give you like
the Birmingham Bulls.
Yeah.
Before that were the Toronto Toros of the WHA. The Sacramento Surge was a former team. In the World Football League back in the 70s, it was the Southern California Sun. It was the Hawaiian Rainbow. The Arizona Wranglers of the early days.
Can you give me
of
the Clippers start to finish?
They were in Buffalo, San Diego, Los Angeles. Buffalo Braves, San Diego Clippers, Los Angeles Clippers.
I think that's right.
Yep.
The Kings?
Ooh, the Kings are a little tougher for me. The question is, were they somewhere before they were the Kansas City Omaha Kings? And I don't know them before Kansas City Omaha, but they shared games in Kansas City and Omaha. Split schedule. They were the Kansas City Omaha Kings, and then they went to Sacramento.
That might be right. I was throwing it out.
Yeah. So you don't even know.
Yeah.
Mine would either be I'd take a crack that I'm the only one of the 100 that knows all 50 state capitals, or
It's a tough one because a lot of people learn that. I mean, I can't do it, but a lot of kids learn that.
Do you know
and
New
retain it.
Hampshire?
He has to do the song.
No, that's the ones in order when you do the song.
Yeah. The current Colorado Avalanche was the Winnipeg Jets.
Well, I'm
Sorry.
just asking you
No,
one.
it's
New
Concord.
Hampshire. Okay.
Okay, go ahead. What was that? I'm sorry.
Concord is New Hampshire.
Concord, New Hampshire.
Concord is New Hampshire.
What is which one is the tough one? South Dakota. We talked a lot about South
Pierre.
Dakota. Yeah. See, I can never get Pierre.
Yeah, the tougher ones are actually like some of the smaller cities, like Kentucky. A lot of people, if you don't grow up in the South, Frankfurt is the state capital of Kentucky. You would think Lexington, maybe.
Yeah, and I would think a lot of people probably don't realize Montgomery if you're outside of the state of Alabama. But you wonder, it depends on the age of these people, too. If you get really young people, you might have some people fresh off of learning their capital.
And you do get a few like Washington, the state of Washington. A lot of people don't think of Olympia. Illinois is Springfield. A lot of people don't think of Springfield. Missouri's Jefferson City. A lot of people don't think of that.
Even California, nobody thinks of Sacramento.
Yeah.
See, I'll be honest with you, South Dakota, I think I would have missed that in a multiple choice right now.
That's Pierre?
Yeah, if you'd have put those 4 up on a screen for me, A, B, C, D.
Wow. That's a tough one. I mean, there are a few that are tough out there, but then there are some that are super obvious, too. But either that or, and this is a random one, like all the Iron Bowl winners over the last 40 years.
Poof.
I mean, I think probably in a room of 100 people, there's not a lot that could get that one right if you go consecutively. Sorry.
Second down.
That's right. Cincinnati Royals were there before in the NBA. They went to Kansas City, Omaha. Go ahead.
What did everyone have 25 years ago, 1999, that really nobody has now?
Oh, this is easy. Blockbuster membership.
That's a good one.
It's a worn-out card.
I have the card. Do you have the plastic card?
Oh, yeah.
It was
Or
like a
just
laminated piece of cloth.
Or just a VHS.
Yeah.
Like I've still, and this is going to shock you guys, I think I've got like 3 DVD players still at the house. But I don't know if I've got a VHS player.
VHS was in 1999, right? Where I would record Thursday nights shows.
That was the transition, though, because I got my first DVD player, I think, in 2000.
Yeah, for me, it would be the phone at home.
Landline.
I do not have that anymore. It's all we don't have.
We don't have
a home number.
TV VCR combo. Those things are badass.
I had a small TV VCR combo that I used to record the shows. And I would watch it on a different television. But the
that was your recording machine.
Yeah, this tells you a lot about my personality. Is I was always afraid that Maggie, or the roommates before that, or people who were spending the night would screw up my recording that I would do every day because I had to get my Mad About You on. So I'd record it in a separate area in my room where nobody can mess it up.
I remember. So I was watching TV the other night. And I was like, damn, I wish my TV was bigger. Like, I don't think you can have too big, but I do remember having that dual. I remember me and Bethany back in the day, like in college, laying on a floor with it was probably like an 8-inch TV with the VHS. We would go rent movies and lay on the floor and watch on an 8-inch TV with the worst sound ever. And I didn't think anything.
Oh, no, you loved it. Loved every minute.
That's all you know.
It was about this tall.
Yeah.
About this wide. And it slid right in the bottom of my head.
Silver one.
Really good. Mine was black.
My answer to this, I'm going to contradict, but a checkbook is my answer, but we actually have a checkbook at the house only because for some reason there are school things that have to be paid by a check. I do not understand at this day and age.
A paper trail. I don't know. A physical paper trail.
I don't understand it, but we have one checkbook so my wife can
They probably want to see that address to make sure your kid's not from outside the district.
Maybe so, but maybe and it's like 5 times a year. My wife has to write 5 checks to our school. For something, and that's the only reason we have a checkbook. It's the only time it ever gets used.
I think the only reason we have it is so that I can go and pull it out of the top right-hand drawer, so I could fill out a form like our new direct deposit.
See your routing number? Yeah.
Mine was also the family desktop. Like you had I'm going to play it. Like now everybody has their laptop or iPad or something like that. But it was like where Dad has to do his work.
That's right.
After that, I'm going to get online and talk to my friends because we have the family desktop.
I went into both my kids' rooms the other night, and both of them have that. And they both have laptops too. And I was like, why? I didn't know they both still had like desktops and they're like gaming. They play games on their desktops.
Third down.
What profession gets the most hate for just doing their job? Mine was missing baggage claim. Missing bag. Can you imagine the amount you get yelled at just for doing your job?
Yeah. Cops. I mean, we rely a lot on police officers, and, Tim Melton talking about his late father. And I was talking to Tim, my brother, Reed's brother, was Birmingham cop for over a decade. And look, in every profession, there's good and there's bad, but cops, there's no respect for police officers.
Yeah.
Basketball referees, I thought I didn't like the job they did in Knoxville or Oxford last night, but I know it's a hard job, but I didn't like either one of those.
Patrick said, my meteorologist. I mean, there's like 5 days a year where they've got to really get something right, and they get killed if they miss it.
I want you to get it wrong.
I want you to get it wrong so I can kill you. I mean, like, you're a meteorologist in the Deep South. 90% of the time, it's pretty easy.
Well, the other one for me that I've experienced is being a cashier or something like that, working at a theater when you're behind the concession stand, somebody says, I want Reese's Pieces and a Coke. That'd be $15. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I made the prices right here.
Sir, I'm making $6 an hour.
I just came up with the price in my head.
That's right.
Yeah, rental cars. Every time I go to rent a car, which is not a lot, there is somebody before, after, next to me. They are bitching and complaining about something.
Yep.
Gotta do one more, guys.
All right.
4th down.
You can select one superhero to be real and protect the city of Birmingham. Who are you choosing?
I might just do Batman. He'd be in About Town. He's not really a superhero.
he's got stars for him.
I mean, it's a guy you could do a shot with.
But no, you don't know Batman.
He might bang your girlfriend.
If that's true, you don't know Bruce Wayne is Batman.
I'm still going to go with Batman. I don't know. You see the bat, like you're out on a Friday night, and you're like, oh, damn, shit's going down. The bat's out.
The thing's always on.
Yeah. You live in a city where the bat's always out?
Superman. I'd go Superman because I don't think we have a lot of kryptonite around here. And other than that, that's the only thing that can knock him down, man.
Yeah, Chris is right. He better be bulletproof.
Well, I was asking this to them in the
somebody said Saban
room earlier yesterday, and both, I think Tyler and Kelsey both said Iron Man.
Well, that goes with the history of Birmingham.
Well, also just the billionaire guy that can invent things.
Yeah.
Well, he'd be the richest guy in state too, right?
We did. Laura's right. We had an old Batman in downtown Birmingham that passed. If you remember, he had the Batmobile and he'd go around.
Oh, I thought that was so cool as a kid.
I know. God rest his soul.
You'd see him roll through Burger King all the time.
He wasn't the same guy that had all the pennies on his car, right?
I don't think so. It was an actual Batmobile.
Yeah. There was a guy in town that I thought played the role of a superhero rolling around, and he had, I think, glued pennies to his entire car.
Maybe. I remember seeing that car. It was at World of Wheels a few times, but I did see it a couple of times, him rolling through Burger King. You think Bruce Wayne would eat at Burger King?
He is the king. Yeah, of course he does. And he's going to be a reward.
He'd get some of those chicken fries.
That is 4 Downs today, brought to you by our friends at Slice. We appreciate those folks so much, just like we do New York Butcher Shop. A great place to slide in there right now and get steaks for the weekend.
Absolutely. I'm planning on doing that tomorrow night. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop. Pick up the finest and certified Angus prime beef steaks, burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, all natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees, side dishes, perfect dinner-to-go choice for you and your family, ready to eat at home. Don't forget the huge deli sandwiches and catering options for your next business lunch meeting with a great selection of fine wines and desserts. New York Butcher Shop, one-stop dinner shop, 2 locations, Cabo Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Ready to swap from your current auto or RV loan provider and drop your interest rate? Now is your chance. With Legacy Credit Union's annual swap and drop promotion, you can swap your current loan and save with Legacy in minutes. Whether you're a member or a potential member, Legacy Credit Union is here to help you drive into savings. Go online to swapanddrop.com or visit one of their 9 locations to take advantage of this incredible offer. Limited time offer, terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Sports fans, Alabama State Senate will soon decide if you get the right to vote on a lottery, casinos, and sports betting. But they need to hear from you. Did you know Alabama is one of only 12 states where you can't legally bet on sports? House Bill 151 allows you to choose whether you can place a bet on the big game this weekend. Call your state senator today. Tell them to vote yes on the lottery and gaming bill. For more information, go to sportsbettingalliance.org. It's paid for by the Sports Betting Alliance. Again, sportsbettingalliance.org. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you, 969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Back to basketball at the top of the hour, when Dalen Cuff joins us from ESPN to talk about the big game Saturday, 7 o'clock at night, but game day is there Saturday at Coleman Coliseum. For Alabama and Tennessee, the winner takes over first place. Betting line will be what, LT, for that one?
I would say that Alabama is going to be a favorite. Yeah, I think Alabama's 2.5.
Which, when you factor in road and college basketball, it's pretty much toss-up. I mean, would you say that? Which is weird.
Well, if this game was in Tennessee, I think Tennessee's probably...
they played it once.
Yeah, it was a 40-point game last time they played.
20, I think.
Yeah, probably 8-point favorites.
Yeah. So, Bama favorite coming up on Saturday. LT believes that's how the number will come out. We'll talk to Dalen Cuff about that. Combine starting today at the NFL. D linemen and linebackers on the field this afternoon. By the way, keep an eye out this weekend for Penn State's Chop Robinson, big guy there. They expect him to run an actual 4.4 40, even with his big size there. Big opportunity right now in the state of Alabama with the Sports Betting Alliance. Now's the time. You're running out of time to make your voice heard. All a lot of people are asking for is a chance to vote, LT. Let the people vote.
Get
it out of committee, man.
I mean, look, this is a democracy, right? You work hard for your money. You want to spend it. You want to be able to wager legally here in state. This is the way to do it. I'm going to give you the number again, 334-261-0800. The Alabama State Senate will soon decide if you get the right to vote on a lottery, casinos, and sports betting. But they need to hear from you. Did you know Alabama is one of only 12 states where you can't legally bet on sports? House Bill 151 allows you to choose whether you can place a bet on the big game this weekend. Call your state senator today. Tell them to vote yes on the lottery and gaming bill. For more information, go to sportsbettingalliance.org. Paid for by the Sports Betting Alliance, sportsbettingalliance.org, or call right now, 334-261-0800.
334-261-0800, right? 261-0800. All right, so that's the number to call there. Elsewhere in basketball, last night UAB loses to Wichita State. Sanford rested players, lost on the road at Wofford. They got one more game against Citadel Saturday. I don't know if they'll rest the players again, but then they're getting ready for their tournament next week. We have a long-standing thing on this show about engagement and marriage.
I know where you're going here.
So I will ask LT, his beloved...
First thing I thought of.
His beloved Los Angeles Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani, announcing on his social media platform yesterday that he is now married and he has a dog. The dog's name is Decoy. The only thing we know about the wife is that she is from his native Japan.
Yeah, I think the dog is like a beagle mix. He's had the dog for a little bit. This is better than him marrying an American because she would be straight up about a money grab.
Interesting. So the fact that it's a native.
Well, you would think that maybe they've got some years together and she didn't realize how good this guy was going to be. And, different culture. Maybe she lets him just play baseball without banging his phone nonstop and asking where he's going with the guys after the game.
But traditionally, you think guy who's good before marriage and girlfriend or engagement, once he becomes married and engaged, it drops off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little more concerned about this than the Tommy John surgery recovery, where he won't be able to throw till 2025. But again, it's a different culture altogether. So I'm going to reserve judgment on this one. I know we fought wars over that undefeated thing in every single piece of land in this world, every continent, every country. But I am going to hold a little reserved judgment on this one. If you saw a picture of some 24-year-old California model that he was marrying, I'd be like,
straight money grab.
Yeah, like the Dodgers are going to eat a lot of that contract.
Oh yeah, you'd feel that bad about it, huh? Now, when did I was going to point out for Lance the next time this came up, and I don't know why I thought of this when I was watching the Super Bowl. When did Mahomes marry his girl?
I think it was pre him starting.
All right, he proposed to her 2020, it says. So there's the proposal. That's where the clock starts for you, Lance, is with proposal, right?
He got engaged. He'd already won a Super Bowl by then.
So that was going to be my point. He was drafted in 2017. He's been good from day one.
This is not like a complete. It would be impossible if that was the fact.
No, I know. I was just pointing out that this does happen.
It does, yeah.
So I just wanted to point out, I'm backing you up on that.
Yeah. Couple other things quickly. I don't know if this is new, but it looked like they've been uncovered. Rockstar is a presidential guru. But Warren G. Harding's love letters. Have you seen this? It's in the news now.
No, I have not.
Weren't they to other men?
They were not.
Was that changed the context of the letter?
No.
I can't wait to rub my fingers through your beard again.
Was it Grover Cleveland? There's only been one confirmed bachelor that was a president.
Well, Warren G. Harding was married, and so was his mistress, Carrie Phillips, according to records, and they have his love letters now. My takeaway from this is that he had a nickname for his body part and a nickname for her body part that he referenced in the letters. And they even came across a notation that referenced what the code words meant.
Okay.
For other people to dissect them.
I guess we're about to get that.
Yes. His little friend, he called Jerry. So there was one letter that I was reading this morning, courtesy of Katie Couric's email, the newsletter that I get every morning, that said, when I summoned you and you walked into the bedroom, Jerry and I were happy to see you. And at first I was like, this is freaky.
That took a turn.
The president and Jerry were there.
I summoned you.
And then later on.
Where's the Gamp? He's sleeping. We better wake him up.
Later on, I found out what little Jerry was.
Right.
Her body part he referenced as Mrs. Potterson, Pouterson. And while that body part needed to be married, but it's MRS period, Mrs. Pouterson.
I think that body part was married.
Yeah, Pouterson, I guess is how you pronounce that. A little pouting there.
Yeah, need a little background on this.
Both of them married though, and hanging out together in the travels of the president.
So did they get busted by letter? Most people get busted via text now.
Turns out that neither one of the mates cared. The first lady was battling a massive kidney issue that she never solved. And then
did it take her down?
Her old husband, eventually, yes. Her old husband, while she was hanging out with the president, suffered oftentimes from nervous breakdowns. Which back then, probably with them dropping a little lead in his water.
Yeah.
So she could get Mrs. Powderhouse out of the house.
But Rocky had another mistress that he supposedly fathered a child with.
Ooh, that's not. Well, I was thinking he's not the only president that named his junk. LBJ had Jumbo.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a little bolder in his than
Jumbo.
Jerry.
LBJ?
LBJ had his nickname Jumbo. I don't know what that means. Yeah. But
did President Clinton have a nickname for his?
Wait, so LBJ though was married to Lady Bird.
Yeah.
Damn.
So she got jumbo treatment.
Of which you named your dog, not after her.
Not after her.
Yeah. All right.
After
Top of the hour.
Great film.
We'll talk to Dalen Cuff about basketball. Great game last night in Knoxville. And a big one set up for Tuscaloosa. That's coming up on the other side of the show. Being brought to you by Dr. B. Do you have a nickname for your hair?
I don't, Dunaway. I do not. That'd be really weird. But Dr. Beckenstein is the best in the business. That non-invasive treatment, I do it 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is all. My hair is more than doubled in thickness. Dr. B also offering the Sensus Transdermal Infuser. This enables Dr. Beckenstein to get various medicines and therapies into the scalp where the hair follicles are without using any injections. This is revolutionary, as Dr. B can pinpoint delivery of a patient's genetically specific products without any needles. Call 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
Everything Alabama, all the time. Subscribe and set alerts at Roll Tide Pods on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's back with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap. Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you, 969-8100 or Michelson. LaserVision.com.
Request to please like and subscribe. Well, here at Disrupt Media, we aren't going to play that game. Those demands are frankly outdated. So we just want you to hit like or subscribe. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure novel. Pick a path, hit like, or hit subscribe. It's your call. We don't care which, just pick one. Or go to Roll Tide Pods and do it. Or War Damn Pods. Or the Disrupt Media YouTube channel. Or The Meltdown. Just make a decision and stick with it. Like or subscribe. The choice is yours.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Dalen Cuff joins us momentarily. The show being brought to you this hour by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, the great folks at Champy's Chicken on 119 in Alabaster. Open for lunch right now. It's an opportunity to get by there and enjoy a great southern meal right there. And you don't find really good fried chicken in a lot of places. Sterling's been doing it for a long time now, over a decade, at that Alabaster location, 119 right there just off 31, just off I-65. It's a destination lunch location, brined overnight, cooked to order, piping hot, hand-cut chicken fingers as well, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. So good. It is champyschicken.com. We'll get to basketball and Dalen Cuff in a moment. Rockstar, can you give me cut number 5? Kalen DeBoer yesterday on the show really amazed us with this conversation about Mount Rushmore back in his native state of South Dakota.
It's got some national attention. I was surprised how stunned people were by this.
And then afterwards, a little behind the scenes, we were talking to Coach for a while, and he pulled out his phone and actually showed us pictures off his phone of his climb to the top of Mount Rushmore. Here's how that conversation went yesterday.
Fun fact with Mount Rushmore, I mean, it's happened so long ago, it probably doesn't matter, but I have been on top of Mount Rushmore.
Oh, really? Have you really? I didn't know that was allowed.
It's not.
Jimmy Stewart was on it in North by Northwest.
Especially, it was my probably 2005 or 2006. Some of us coaches, right after the signing day time, went out there, and special security. We had a player on our team, and his dad was in charge of the security, and he got us up there before it opened one day and gotten it behind there. And so I wish we'd had the phones now with more pictures.
Yeah, I know.
We didn't capture enough pictures back then, or at least good ones, and so that was a pretty special moment.
The photos were pretty cool, and one of the photos, like, I guess I knew this was a real thing, was the area where they were going to hide the stuff that supposedly got stolen in National Treasure.
Right.
All the articles and all that they were going to hide it actually in Mount Rushmore.
The Nick Cage movie.
Yeah. Now that's a real area. They just didn't have stuff hidden back there.
He showed us that picture. He showed us a picture standing on top of George Washington. He says this is on top of George looking out, and he went down. I made him laugh when I said, I think it was Jefferson. Is that one of the ones there?
Yeah.
He had a nice side shot of Jefferson that they were beside, and I said, oh, that's right in his ear hole. He laughed at the football reference there, but that was such a
he did though
such a special moment for him that here's the coach afterwards. He goes, hey, back to that Mount Rushmore thing. I got some pictures here on my phone if I can find them. So it was a really interesting moment with him yesterday.
I've heard Mount Rushmore is overrated, by the way.
I noticed you didn't tell him that yesterday.
I did not tell Coach DeBoer that, but I've heard it's overrated tourist
remember, it
trap.
wasn't finished. They were going to do the bodies too.
Oh, yeah.
They're just going to do the waist, and then
so they didn't run through. They didn't run through the tape.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk some basketball. If you're watching Alabama and Auburn last night, you saw Dalen Cuff in studio talking about both the games. He is with us now. The JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Dalen? How are you today?
Good to be on with you guys, and I guess we're here for the Mount Rushmore's overrated take. I didn't know we were going to get to that. Never been, but maybe I should just not go.
Well,
that's a lot of work to get to Mount Rushmore, to go all the way to South Dakota just to look at some old presidents.
Yeah, so what I've read is smaller than you would think, a little more difficult to see than you would think, and nothing around it to do otherwise. So once you've seen it, you're kind of done. So that's the overrated part.
And since you're new to the show, Dalen, I will tell you, Graceland in Memphis, you do not have to go to. It is overrated. The Boomer Schooner in Norman is smaller than it looked on TV when I was a kid, and South Beach is not that good of a beach in Miami. So you can pass on all three of those things in your travel.
Dalen, I disagree with what he's talking about with
Graceland.
Graceland. I thought Graceland was cool.
Okay, guys, I will say this. I appreciate the travel advice. I will lay up on Graceland. I was not a big Elvis guy. South Beach, you do it right, you can have the time of your life. And I think you just got to do it right, though. We're not 20 raging at 6 a.m. in the clubs anymore. But you can have a good time there, and you can enjoy it, just maybe more an adult way.
All right, let's talk about let's start with Auburn and Tennessee last night, because I've seen a lot of Auburn fans saying it was a loss, yes. But, boy, I am encouraged by this team coming out of this loss. I've even seen people say, like, I watched last night and I felt like this is a Final Four capable team, even in a loss at Tennessee.
I don't think that's necessarily a wrong take. I think we're not here for moral victories, but I think we knew that already. Both these teams are capable of making deep runs in the tournament. My question with Auburn, and actually a little bit with both teams, and you saw when Dalton Connect started to take over, I guess it's less of a concern. I mean, he outscored Auburn 25-21 over the final 12 minutes by himself. It's Auburn offensively can get stuck a little bit. I prefer them when they are playing downhill, trying to get into the lane, or play through Broom or at times Williams in the paint. and then playing inside out. And I think what we've seen with their team sometimes, they can fall in love with shooting threes, and we know they can play fast, but they don't have to play that way. And I think when they do that, sometimes they start chucking a lot of threes. We've seen in some of their bigger games, bigger opponents, they struggle. That's not necessarily what happened last night. They ran into a really good team on the road. They're a good team, but had some offensive challenges at times. I mean, I will say this, and I hope I talk to Bruce the next week because I would love to understand it more. They were up 8 guys in control of that game in the second half. And Tennessee really struggling to score and kind of, out of sync. And Bruce went zone and connected to 3. They go zone again, 2-3. They get in the high post, drop down, dunk, 5-point run. They cut that lead to 3. The place goes nuts, and then Connect went nuts. I really want to understand the thinking there, because in games of that level, that was a tournament level game. I mean, that was a Sweet 16, Elite 8 level game where games can hinge on those type of moves and how they shift in the game, and obviously playing on the road impacts it even more. And the game got away from them after that. So I think some of the thinking around that was interesting in that game. But big picture, I think offensively there are some times, like I mentioned, they get stuck. But Auburn's capable of getting to a Final Four, and as is Tennessee.
Yeah, Connect just doesn't look like he's got a weakness in his game. He goes for a career-high 39, tying a career high earlier this year against Florida. How is this guy not more dominant in the Big Sky for Northern Colorado?
Well, I mean, he did put up some points. I think he was second-team All-League player, but I do think the players around you, your coaching, your scheme, and your commitment. And then I love Jimmy Dykes, and Jimmy will tell you every story in the Sun during a game at times and praise players where there should be praise. But everybody he talked to before the season was about his work ethic and his grind. And I do think his size and skill level, along with his athleticism, is pretty remarkable. I mean, he has that high release point. He's 6'6". He's athletic, and he can knock down shots. He scored all 3 levels. He's got everything you want. But he also has the mentality where he's grinding, and he's working, and his game has improved from last year. And I think also you have a coach, the Hall of Fame coach, Rick Barnes, saying, okay, we're going to feature this guy in this offense, so we're going to run so much for him and through him to a point so much sometimes that it becomes detrimental to the team because other guys defer to him. When they're at their best is when he's doing his thing, but other guys are still willing to step up and able to make plays and playing as confident as possible. I think this is a great story of a young man that has worked his way from JUCO to Northern Colorado to Tennessee, and then he's going to be an NBA lottery pick. My pops used to always say, he played for Duquesne back in the days and was drafted by the Knicks. He used to say, if you're good enough, they will find you. And Dalton Connect embodies that.
I'm interested, Dalen, on where you are right now on Auburn's guards. At one point in January, I thought it was a real strength of this team with Janai inside and the way the guards were playing. But last night, some turnover problems on the road at Tennessee. Where are you with the Auburn guards right now?
I kind of touched on it before. I think shot selection and essentially decision-making is concern. I don't want those guys chucking threes before they've made an attempt to get into the lane, to get 2 feet in the lane, to play through Janai in the post. I think that's a mistake. And I think you saw last night some decision-making, just being careless with the ball, particularly in the first half. And that's what we came on. That game, guys, you remember, I think it was 32-28 or 32-26. When we do those under 4-minute pops, they come to us in studio. Here's what's coming up. I say something, coach say something, back to the game to finish the game. And that final 3 minutes and 59 seconds before that, there were a combined 19 turnovers and 18 field goals. Both teams were playing sloppy. And then dudes started making shots. The final 3:59, there were about 28 points. That is a torrid pace to finish the last 4 minutes. And that continued in terms of the pace of the game and some of the shot making. But the decision making on Tennessee's side got much better. I believe they had 3 or 4 turnovers in the entire second half, where Auburn went to 16 turnovers. So their decision making continued to be poor in critical moments. So yeah, I think those are the question marks. I think those guys have to play. I mean, anytime to make a run to the Final Four, you got to play well almost every game. Very rarely can you play poorly in an NCAA tournament game and survive. I think particularly those guards have to be strong, smart, and really their shot selection. They are talented, but the shots you choose to take and when you choose to take them, understanding time and score, remains to be something that we'll see if they can do it whenever all the pressure is on.
Dalen Cuff is with us from ESPN. You saw him in the studio last night. At Dalen Cuff on Twitter is where you would follow him there. Let's move to the Alabama game because Nate Oates basically challenged his defense after that embarrassing Kentucky loss. Alabama still gave up 88 to Ole Miss. They still allowed Ole Miss to shoot almost 52% from the field. But game to game, did you see a better effort from Alabama's defense?
It's not necessarily about effort. It's just what they're capable of, and I wonder what that is. I mean, when they don't have the same rim protection they've had in years past, where they were, a top 5, top 10 defensive efficiency team and playing the same way, kind of schematically, but they had that kind of anchor in the back to help them, or anchors at different times. They've had multiple guys that kind of play that role. And when you don't have that in terms of interior defense, and at times they don't guard their yard very well. And I think there's a mentality where you're just saying, okay, we give this up. We'll go 3. We'll go get 3 on the other end. We're okay. And that can work. And they can overwhelm some teams. But I do think wherever they come out in the bracket, matchups always matter. But I do think looking at it, I'm going to be hard-pressed to think they can do that in 4-4 games and get themselves to Phoenix in a Final Four. Nonetheless, dude, 6-6 and win the whole title. I think there has to be a mentality, a desire, an approach that we are going to guard on one end, and we are going to play this unabashed philosophy on the other side, which is purely analytics. We're going to play threes, free throws, and layups. And that's really freaking hard to guard. But to do it on the other end consistently, because when those threes aren't going in, you guys, we all seen it this year, they can struggle. And bear in mind, look at their non-league schedule, guys. You know this. They played everybody they could. I mean, they played really good non-league schedule. They didn't win any of those games. And that's also what is concerning, too. I know they've gotten better, and guys are performing at a little bit of a higher level. Mark Sears is playing at an All-American level. But when you look at the tournament, when they run into some of those similar teams again, some of those flaws are going to come up. And I'm concerned that they may have an off shooting night and they can't do it on the defensive end. You're going to find themselves out in they're out of 32, Sweet 16, maybe the Elite 8.
First place on the line, both teams 12-3. Game day will be at Coleman Coliseum this Saturday for that 7 o'clock tip. I said earlier, I think Alabama's going to be a slight, 2.5 point favorite over Tennessee. We saw what Tennessee did earlier this year in Knoxville, thumping Alabama by 20. But how do you see the rematch playing out with first place at stake?
It's a good question with the line, though. I do think Alabama will be favored. The metrics have loved them throughout the course of the season. I mean, even some of the metrics, they may be, a place or two above Tennessee. But I think overall, kind of what we just said, owning the tempo of the game. Tennessee still can play fast, but you want to make Alabama play in a half-court game. And if they can do that, you've won half the battle, especially on their floor. I think you also, of course, want to make them guard, as we just said. How they handle Connect and their ability to guard him. This is what about 5 weeks or so after they played last time around. You're gonna have a team that whenever you play somebody, you learn. You take a lot of learnings from that game, whether it's a win or a loss. You understand. But he was 25 points. I think he was pretty efficient for the game. He wasn't the most efficient he's ever been. So he did a good job with that. But sometimes you change your game plan. I know last night you watched Auburn. They tried at times to not help off of him and especially the first half, make other guys beat you. And you kind of like that approach. You wonder what Nate Oates will do here from a schematic standpoint to try to slow down a guy that just had 39. Because you do take that game tape and try to break it down and try to understand what we can do better, how we need to operate better within the course of a game. And I think ultimately it's going to come down to pace. Can Alabama own the tempo? Can that building impact guys? And it always is on the road. Where are the other dudes stepping up for Tennessee? I think you know what you're going to get from Connect. I thought Jonas Aidoo, he's been good. Guys, he catches within 15 feet with his feet set. He's making that jumper. It is remarkable how effective he is at knocking down a shot in that kind of short space. Shapes up well. In addition to that, but who are the other guys that are going to step up? And I think Alabama has to have the same situation, but at home they usually have some of your role players play better. But it is come down to pace, making Alabama guard. If they can do that, if they can impose their will, they can play at pace, they can get rebounds, they can get out. It's a game that can be played in Alabama's favor.
It may take an undercooked chicken dish at the team hotel the night before to hold him under 20 on Saturday.
You can go MJ, give him a pizza.
The old flu game. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Hey, Mark Sears played 40 minutes last night without a turnover, and I occasionally will throw a wager on a player prop, and he's always every night 20 and a half in scoring. And he had it's 20 plus every night from this guy. Can you tell me when you watch Mark Sears, you see what in a basketball player?
I see a tough-nosed, great three-level scorer, a team guy, but a guy that at times can force bad positions. And you mentioned turnovers. I think in that Alabama game or the Tennessee game, I believe he had 7. And that's a game, I think, in that type of environment, with that type of opponent, your decision-making is just as important as your playmaking. We know he can play-make. We know he can make shots, but he's going to need to make the right decisions, especially with a good defensive team like Tennessee is. So I think you see one of the best guards in the country. But like any other player, like when you go on the road and you're playing other elite players, when you're elite teams and you're an elite player, you got to kind of bring your A game, and you got to bring that to those environments. That's really easy for me to say. It's very, very hard to do, and he didn't do that last time around. This time around, I think is very important. But broadly speaking, when decision making is equal to his playmaking and equal to his shot making, he's one of the 5 best guards in the country.
All right, he is Dalen Cuff. You could follow him on Twitter at Dalen Cuff and see him on ESPN throughout the college basketball season. Dalen, thank you very much for the time. We appreciate your thoughts on travels and college basketball.
Anytime, guys, and Mount Rushmore. I'm never going. Thank you for that.
Okay, we'll see you. I'm glad he took our advice on that. He was on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
What was the question last night at Odie's, guys?
The question last night at Odie's is which came first, the Statue of Liberty or Alabama's first football game?
Oh, the Statue of Liberty comes sliding into New York Harbor.
No, we're talking about the fake one, not the one that's out on 459. The fake one that's in New York. Yeah.
I think it came rolling into the harbor, and
this is when it was unveiled. But I think it went to Ellis Island the same year.
It was unveiled, so same year.
Yeah.
I think that was the 96 World Fair, and I think Alabama did 92 of the 1800s.
Of course, you're dead on with Alabama.
Got the Alabama one
of course.
Spot on.
Alabama played their first football game November 11th, 1892. Statue of Liberty was actually unveiled October 28th of 1886.
Now, I can tell you why Dunaway knew this, because the 1992 national championship team had the 100-year patch on their jersey.
That may be one reason I know that, or a lot of
easy math.
A lot of T-shirts I had growing up had 1892 on it. So I missed it by a decade on the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, it's still impressive you got Alabama right.
Yeah, tell us about Odie's.
Little facts you learn when you come out and join us every Wednesday night at Odie's Team Trivia. Great crowd last night. Not only on the Wednesday night, but if you're looking for live music every Friday and Saturday, both locations of Odie's. The original we hang out at Wednesday nights for trivia right there in Crestline. The newest location in Homewood, the corner of Oxmoor and Broadway. Great food from Rodney Davis, from the award-winning wings all the way to great sandwiches like that Diablo sandwich, ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Get into one of those great locations today for lunch or dinner. It's Odie's Tavern.
Hey, is Lunsford back there? I've got great news for everyone on the show, and Lunsford can chime in and back me up on this. Lunsford, does Dunaway know that Bitcoin is approaching an all-time high?
Wow.
Dunaway should know that.
Yeah,
Dunaway's probably the one that told us that, right?
Jimmy Crypto, did you know Bitcoin's approaching an all-time high?
I did not know. The fact that Facebook could care less that my that an account I deleted back in the mid-200s is being used to promote Bitcoin.
Yeah, look at that.
It doesn't bother them at all.
I'm never going to get rich because you sit right by me every day.
Yep.
And if you would have told me last week, hey, Bitcoin is going to hit an all-time high next week,
buy the dip.
I'd have been like, I don't even know how to buy this thing.
If you were nicer to me on the show, I'd share my Bitcoin knowledge.
Lunsford, is it? Are they thinking? We're going to hit the? I know it's a guess. It's just speculation. But the all-time high, I think, is what, 68,000?
68, 69, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere in there. And we're at 62 this morning.
Yeah, it's gotten over 63. Exactly. It's gone down. I think it's actually a little under 62 right now. It could.
Damn, this is exciting, Dunaway. How pumped are you?
It's a pyramid game, so I don't know why it's legal, and you guys better sell it before it falls apart.
I don't know. The pyramid game is the verbiage I would use to describe that.
It's nowhere close.
But then again, Jimmy Crypto knows more than us, so I don't know.
Well, I think that's kind of with all stocks, right?
Yeah.
It's no different than a stock. It's just more volatile.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You're able to spend Bitcoin in gambling circles, right, Lunsford?
Yeah, that's actually how I did my first MyBookie deposit.
And you just sit around on yours and just waiting to cash it in at some point, Brownie? Or do you ever use it for anything?
No, I've moved it around some.
Do you ever wonder why the gamblers like Bitcoin?
You'll have to ask Les for that question. I've moved it around some. I've got several cryptocurrencies, but I've got a little Bitcoin.
Yeah, but you've moved it into real cash at some point.
No, actually not Bitcoin. I have sold some crypto for actual cash before Lunsford, but I don't think
I've never talked to anybody that's actually sold Bitcoin for cash.
That has actually turned the Bitcoin into currency in the US.
I've cashed out before. It's buying, investing, and then cashing out when it goes up. But
where you got hard American dollars for it.
Yeah, there was one Brown and I both did a couple years ago. I don't remember what it was, but I remember we had a discussion about it, and I doubled what I did. So I took out the half that I made and then left the original investment in there, and I think it tanked after that. But then like Dogecoin, I bought it.
That's one of the
6
ones.
cents, I think, and it got up to like 80 or something like that.
I sold way too early on that one. I panicked.
Well, when you guys don't show up for work because of Bitcoin, I'm going to be like, damn, they were onto something.
I'll be here because I don't know what they're talking about.
I don't either.
To Lance's point, though, Lunsford, on many of these platforms, you start with Bitcoin, you deposit a Bitcoin, and you transfer that to other currencies. So, in a sense, I have cashed out Bitcoin if that makes any sense. Like Bitcoin was the establishing currency, and I transferred it to other cryptocurrencies and cashed those out. So, yeah, I've cashed out Bitcoin before.
I still just believe in that American dollar.
Absolutely. When we come back, we will
That's
get to
what
trash.
I get out of it.
To trash today. The show being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill, LT.
205-229-2090. Make sure that unit ready to keep up with the changing weather. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
And as always, I encourage you to go to lanceslock.com and check out a free play every day there if you like to wager on some sports. Maybe it's on the Gonzaga team tonight as they play San Francisco, 10 o'clock ESPN.
Then again, maybe it's not.
Maybe it's on the Warriors and Knicks, part of a doubleheader starting off at 6:30 on TNT. Maybe it's a little ice pick tonight. Maybe it's the Las Vegas Golden Knights and the Boston Bruins in a great game at 6 o'clock on ESPN+.
We do have a big announcement coming up on Lance's.
Yeah, lanceslock.com.
We are in the works right now to bring on a handicapper that we have had discussions with for a while now, and it's getting, the conversations are getting more and more detailed.
Are they heating up?
They are.
All right.
lanceslock.com. lanceslock.com. Check that out. Trash is on the other side. Stay with us.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Legacy Credit Union has the ultimate game changer for your finances. With Engaged Checking, you can earn 3% APY on balances up to $15,000. You heard correctly, 3% APY. But it's not just about scoring with high yields. With Engaged Checking, you can get paid up to 2 days early. That means your paycheck, Social Security, tax refund, you name it, you get it early. So stop sitting on the sidelines and get in the game with Engaged Checking. Sign up today at legacycreditunion.com or visit any 9 Greater Birmingham area branches. APY is annual percentage yield. Terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine prepared fresh daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with Walk-Ons.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
Did you know that colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in America and that it affects men and women equally? If you're older than 45, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, please visit us. Go to rumpshakerinc.org. Also, 6th annual Rump Shaker 5K coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. You can register online, rumpshakerinc.org. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Before we get to trash, LT is going to tell us about the big sports bill that's moving through Montgomery, Alabama right now.
Yeah, very important. I have talked to plenty of people that have been making the phone call to their local senator today, trying to get at least your voice to be heard. At least let's get this thing to a vote in November. That is the important thing. Here's the number you need to write down: 334-261-0800. The Alabama State Senate will soon decide if you get the right to vote on a lottery, casinos, or sports betting, but they need to hear from you. Did you know that Alabama, one of only 12 states where you can't legally bet on sports? House Bill 151 allows you to choose whether you can place a bet on the big game this weekend. Call your state senator today. Tell them to vote yes on the lottery and gaming bill. For more information, go to sportsbettingalliance.org. Paid for by the Sports Betting Alliance, sportsbettingalliance.org, or call right now. Tell them yes. Bill 151, 334-261-0800.
By the way, I saw a commercial for it last night during the Tennessee basketball game with Auburn. And China has just announced another one coming to the market. The foldable smartphones, the Razr is making a big comeback. 40% increase in the foldable smartphones this year is expected. That is the hot new thing that will have the biggest increase.
My favorite phone of all time was the Razr. Obviously, the problem is, I guess if you get a lot of the smart apps and different things on there now.
Yeah, it'll be just like your normal phone, except it folds up.
One of our bus drivers had one. Let me look at it. When it clipped, you're like, well, it's not seamless, is it? And he opened it up, and it's a seamless screen. I was like, wow. And he's like, yeah, I love it because I can put it in my pocket better, and I can just fold it.
Huh. I might be interested in that.
Yeah, I'm all about it.
40% increase in those sales this year. It's supposed to be the big thing for the phone companies. Big thing for us every day at this time of the show. If you're new to us, remember, like, subscribe, thumbs up. And this is the time of day we get away from sports talk by design. We do it oftentimes throughout the show, but by design at this time, it's called Trash on the Table with LT, and it's brought to you by Mortgage Right. Hit it, Rockstar.
Reporters have been saying some pretty nasty things about Western Pennsylvania lately. And you know, I couldn't agree with them more. I couldn't disagree with you. I couldn't agree with you more than the fact that
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
If I told you guys Stephen A. Smith on First Take right now was going to a 1970s prom.
Quite the look.
I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
I found love on a one-way street. What was that Stacey Ladisaw song?
Wow. That is a deep dig, Dunaway.
No, that was from that era, right?
No clue.
That would have been back in the 80s.
I don't know.
I've never heard of Stacey Ladisaw.
Don't know. I wish Rocky would wear that suit, though.
It is right. It is.
I have too much magnetism on me now.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, look up Stacey Ladisaw, Found Love on a One-Way Street. You'll love that song.
Yeah, are you a veteran looking for a VA loan? Mortgage Right has been advocating for veterans since their company began. It's a veteran-owned, operated company committed to your well-being. They can help you find the best terms available, guide you through every step of the process. As a veteran-owned, operated company, they understand the difference between working with someone who gets it, someone who doesn't. They made it their mission to simplify the VA loan process. Visit their location, Highway 280 in Birmingham. You can apply online, mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-815-9200. NMLS 2239. Equal housing.
What did you say the name of the song was?
I Found Love on a Two-Way Street.
I thought you said One-Way Street.
He did say One-Way Street.
Yeah.
No, it is
Two-Way Street is the song.
It's Two-Way Street?
Yeah.
Dang it.
So give me the difference. I mean, if you found love on a two-way as opposed to a one-way street.
Well, I guess on a one-way street, that's probably the way I found love in high school, right?
Yeah. That's not how our man and Jerry found love, right?
No. Miss Porterhouse.
Yeah.
Whatever her name was.
I think Jerry was on a highway, Lance. He was on the interstate.
Okay, I am convinced that Wendy's tastes different in 2024 than Wendy's tasted in 1984.
Wendy's Nutstruck.
Oh, by the way, this may be the story. Go ahead.
So American's fast food chain Wendy's is planning to test dynamic pricing and an AI menu features in 2025, according to Nation's Restaurant News and Food and Wine. That means prices for food items will automatically change throughout the day depending on demand, similar to surge pricing in rideshare apps like Uber and Lyft. The initiative was disclosed by Kurt Tanner, the CEO and president of Wendy's, in a recent discussion with analysts. In conversation with Food and Wine, a spokesperson for Wendy's confirmed the company's commitment to the pricing strategy, describing it as part of a broader effort to grow its digital business. They go on to say beginning as early as 2025, we'll begin testing a variety of enhanced features on these digital menu boards, like dynamic pricing, different offerings in certain parts of the day, AI-enabled menu changes, and suggestive selling based on factors such as weather. They went on to say dynamic pricing can allow Wendy's to be competitive and flexible with pricing, motivate customers to visit and provide them with the food they love at a great value. We will test a number of features that we think will provide an enhanced customer and crew experience. Here's the only problem I got with this.
We're backpedaling.
Yeah. Now, here, the reaction when they said it was, because it's Uber, dynamic pricing was surge pricing, which means a price increase, right?
Yes.
Okay. They're backing off saying, no, we don't mean we're increasing the price. We never said we were increasing the price.
We said we're trying to help the customer more by introducing digital menus.
Right.
So
Okay.
we never said, it says that here, but they said we never said that because they had a huge fallout, because they said surge pricing would give the Wendy's burger, whatever the number one would be $1 more, at least $1 more in surge pricing.
Well, at certain times, exactly. When people,
but we
lunch
never said
hours.
that. We never said that, even though we just did.
Yeah, but I think the way to do this is you have a top price already there, and it can't go any higher than that. Because the difference in me taking an Uber, and maybe that Uber's at 11 o'clock at night, maybe it's 9 in the morning, going destinations, going to work meetings, going different places, my meals are pretty much planned. People are going to breakfast, they're going to lunch, they're going to dinner. Those times are kind of all of the same. Now, you got some late night menu, which I think they would get a big surge on that. But start it here, and then if you want to bring those prices down, the price point between 2 and 4 p.m. or 8 to 10 p.m., then you can do that.
Then you drop the price.
You don't ever surge it up. That's a bad look.
But that is what they're talking about. They're saying they're not, but that's, of course, what they're talking about.
Now, if they want to take it back to the way Wendy's tasted in 1984.
They're going to do that foil wrapper. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, I think the foil wrapper is back.
Oh, is it? I haven't been to Wendy's in quite a while.
Is it not?
If it is, I might have to creep by there.
I don't know why it made it taste better, Lance, but it did.
But it doesn't overhang the bun like it used to. The meat patty's not as big. And,
I tell you what, man, back in the day, I thought Wendy's had the best fast food burger going.
Would you be surprised, and I'm just throwing this out there, so the microwave really came to the fold early 80s to mid 80s? Would you be surprised if somebody took that burger in the foil, mic'd it, blew the microwave up, and they sued Wendy's?
Yeah, sued Wendy's, and that's why
and then Wendy's was like, you know what, we're going to go back.
Maybe so. On the flip side of this, the Kellogg's CEO is catching, and we got Wendy's surge pricing. I mean, the word surge means goes up, by the way.
That's great soft drink, too.
Yeah. And Kellogg's CEO says, with people struggling financially, food costs, cereal for dinner is a great alternative. You can save money and have a nutritious dinner around America. And he's catching grief now
Cereal's
because
like $10.
He's telling them, the owner of Kellogg's, that, hey, save a little money, eat cereal for dinner.
And I've noticed this recently, Rocky, because when you give something up, it's like you go back into something. And so I've gotten into sugar really bad this month. So I've given up alcohol, but I've gotten into sugar, which means I've been eating cereal for breakfast about 2 or 3 days a week.
Now, Maggie Dunaway will drop a bowl of cereal for dinner all the time because she doesn't have to have meat like Brownie does, like I like to have usually for my meals. She'll, I'll be like, hey, what are you doing for dinner tonight? She goes, I'm just going to have a bowl of cereal. And I'm like, okay, what am I doing for dinner?
Our friend Herb eats bowls of cereal a lot of times for dinner. But here's the thing. You buy the regular, not the family, not that it's got much more in it, the regular box of cereal, you really only get 2 or 3 good pours in that thing. And it's like $7 or $8 now, and one bowl of cereal is not going to fill up a guy. It's just not.
When do you ever get to the bottom of a cereal box and it's just the perfect amount you want in the bowl?
Right. You can't do it. I do too much.
You cannot do it, yeah. It's either too much or it's not enough.
Like we had a late lunch yesterday. You guys had great burgers. I had a great salad.
I couldn't even eat. I saw Brown and his family at dinner last night. I could barely eat dinner.
Like the smallest dinner.
It was late. I mean, 2:30, right?
Yeah.
So then I at dinner. It's halftime of Auburn. I haven't had dinner, and I was like, well, I got to eat something. So I ate one of my little bowls with yogurt and fruit and everything. But I got through that, and we're in the middle of the Alabama game, and I'm like, I really didn't have dinner. I had that bowl that I was doing dinner. I need some meat in my mouth, so I went and
here's Jerry.
Jerry!
He was excited about the game.
Yeah, so I went and fried me up a little hamburger at halftime.
That-a-way.
Yeah, no bun, obviously, but I fried me up a little one of those little frozen meat patties.
Yeah.
Threw that thing down.
Hard to believe you did a burger with no bun.
I do it all the time. trying to stay healthy. Little
Svelte.
carrots and hummus. That was my fourth meal yesterday.
I'll take Maggie's over yours.
So you had a hamburger patty, carrots, and hummus for dinner.
Yep.
So every time I read something about a Guinness World Record, I think back to the world record that I was going to try to break here on the next round, and how they said a curator was going to be like $30,000. But this one out of Portland, Oregon. Portland local has earned bragging rights after securing the Guinness World Record for the largest female tongue circumference.
Oh, wow. That's a look.
Now, with a
she doesn't have a turn sideways. That's it normal? Like, that's the thickness?
How does she talk?
I can't tell. Yeah, I think she's turning it sideways, which it doesn't look that thick. If that was just like... Well, so the tongue circumference is 5.21 inches, which is apparently larger than a soda can. Now, Jenny DeVander holds the new title.
My name is Jenny.
She told Guinness World Records she wasn't aware of the record until she and her son saw male winner Braden McCullough in the book's 2023 edition. The
Mom,
West
you got
Virginia
a big ass
man's
tongue. We should interview.
tongue circumference measured 6.3 inches. She went on to say, my son, Evan, loves Guinness World Records, pours through the hardcover books every year. My record is definitely inspired by the love of facts and human abilities. So if you're this mom, there's no way she's paying that kind of cash. There has got to be a way that you can get one of these curators in without paying $30,000.
I think they want, when they find something that's small and newsworthy, like the world's oldest dog, something that's like quick like this. I think that's I don't know. They got to be picky. They got to stay relevant in the news to keep people buying their books. So they're being choosy about who they go to.
And as I've told you before, too, I think they probably saw your association with a media company and were like, here's a chance to cash in.
And somebody has to be there to verify that you actually did
but somebody's got to go measure her tongue. All I'm saying is what's more interesting, a chick's tongue that is 5.2 inches or somebody going to 120 bars in 24 hours?
Well, for me, neither.
Yeah, I mean, neither one of them fire me up that much, but I'm just saying they saw a chance to make money.
I mean, if it's not fingernails that are so long you have to drag them across the floor.
I'll never forget that.
Story, there's a lot that goes into 120 bars in 24 hours. This is just
a big tongue.
Some old hag throwing her tongue out.
Yeah.
If I was going to be mean,
going away.
If I was going to be mean,
if you were,
I would say maybe the world record for female receding hairline, but I would not say anything like
her,
that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
How do you, what's your hairstyle? Let's do a little ramen today.
I just think I'm surprised more than anything that the Guinness Book of World Records is still a thing. Because I probably have not looked at one since like fifth grade in the library.
Exactly. Well, there's still fifth graders out there.
Yeah, I guess so.
The two fat cat twins on the motorcycles.
Yeah, but I'm still surprised because there's so many options of entertainment now.
Yeah.
I mean, we just didn't have a lot back then, and the Guinness Book of World Records was something that could keep you captivated for a couple of hours.
To Dunaway's point, just about anybody our generation, our age, when he said that guy with those long fingernails could absolutely picture what that looked like. That guy he had those long curled up fingernails.
How does he drive?
I know.
Yeah, but like to me, like more interesting is like a guy jumping from the highest point, like the highest cliff dive in the world, as opposed to some fingernails.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody, be a pain in the ass. Anybody can grow those long ass fingernails, right?
Yeah, they can break though.
Yeah, it takes some dedication.
I mean, to be able to sit right here and scratch Brown's cheek from right here, that would be
that's
entertainment.
Traumatizing to me.
You have to be a dirty, disgusting person to do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, a Mexican beauty salon that has been gaining followers on TikTok primarily because of its unflattering makeup clips. Ohio's aesthetics' most popular TikTok videos are precisely the ones showcasing the salon's most bizarre makeup, with names like "Makeup to Go Sign the Divorce" or "When You Thought You Would Be Single on Valentine's Day." These viral clips show young women completely transformed with thick layers of makeup, but definitely not in a good way.
So I think what happened is they started doing this, and then people started following. It went viral. Like this is the before. Now I'm going to get a makeover.
Okay, so this is her. She's getting a makeover. After
this is just before you're about to sign your divorce papers. You want to look your best.
Yeah, no doubt.
How about?
Oh
no!
My.
What, guys? Come on.
That was not an improvement.
I would say that's a man.
That was not an improvement. Yeah.
But that's looking your best, and so I think they have fun with it now, and now they keep doing it because they've got a ton of followers.
Go back one real quick because her mouth looks gigantic there. Yeah,
it's still pretty big.
Yeah.
She just got lipstick on it the second time.
I would say that we're getting ready to do Batman the musical, and this is the lady that married Joker.
Yeah, it does have a Joker mouth.
Yeah, Miss Joker.
Joker
She's even in
color
green,
scheme.
Brown.
Yeah. Okay, here are more bad first date stories. First, when this guy arrived late, he wasn't wearing socks, had dirty feet, long toenails, and crusty-looking skin. He started rubbing his foot on my leg. I had to tap out.
I'm with you, buddy.
Yeah, that's a hard pass.
That's that scratchy sound.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no thank you.
Yeah, I just don't get it. If you're going to unleash your toes, you got to cut those things.
That's no doubt. They got to look top-notch.
Here's another one. We went to a restaurant, ordered food and drink. Someone called him. He went outside to take the call. He never came back.
That's Tommy Tuberville.
It's awesome.
Remember that?
Unsolved mysteries. I mean, the guy could be dead, right?
Was that when Tommy Tuberville went from Cincinnati to Texas Tech? Or was it the other way?
Texas
to Cincinnati. Yeah, he was on a recruiting dinner. Got to take a phone call, and the next thing they saw, he was being introduced
That's
to
incredible. We need to track down one of those recruits.
I'd love to hear the story.
Here's another bad first date story. He dipped his hand into my drink, took out a berry, proceeded to eat it.
Anyway.
Still gives me chills to this day.
Oh.
Another one, he picked me up, put on Disney songs, started singing loudly off-key. We get to the bar where we agreed to have some beers and dance. He then tells me he doesn't drink beer and he doesn't like to dance, so I had to dance by myself.
But he likes Disney songs.
Yeah. Doesn't like beer, but the snow doesn't bother him anyway.
How awkward would that be going on a first date and you're like, hey, when we get to the bar, let's dance.
Yeah, I don't dance.
To Disney songs.
And then finally, bad first date story. He asked me to hang out, pick me up from my place, thought it would just be the two of us, but we ended up driving to his friend's house, who lived over an hour away, to watch him DJ on his front porch. 4 hours later, we stopped at Wendy's to get some food, and as we were driving away, he said, "Oh, did you want something?"
Now, we're going to go on a date. Hey, my friend, it's about an hour away. He's going to be DJing on his front porch. We're going to spend some time there. It's going to be awesome.
First date, right, sir? Yeah, first date. And then he hits a drive-through and doesn't even ask her if she wants anything.
Yeah. He forgot, man.
Yeah.
No, I'll just get something at the venue.
Hey, did the new year add to your financial uncertainty? Let the experts at Mortgage Right help get your financial house in order. The team of experts can make sure you're prepared for anything 2024 may bring, including freeing up cash for the things you need to get done. With location in Birmingham on Highway 280. Our friends there, they can help you out. Take control today. Visit Mortgage right there, Highway 280. You can apply. MortgageRight.com/TNR. Call 205-815-9200. NMLS 2239. Equal housing lender.
The latest mystery that is streaming right now. That and one final thought on our visit to Tuscaloosa when we come back right here on the next round, being brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, champy'schicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go by and see that guy, Sterling, and all that wonderful food, including the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, right there on 119 in Alabaster. It's champy'schicken.com.
Follow Rockstar on Twitter @RockstarBHM.
You got to look your best to play your best, and our friends at Bandwagon can help your team find the perfect uniforms for that upcoming season. Bandwagon is with you every step of the way, from developing your team logo design to choosing from their multitude of samples. You name the sport, they can make it happen. To get your uniform journey started, you can shoot them a message on any social media platform or check out their website, bandwagonsports.com. That's bandwagonsports.com. Next round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Sports fans, Alabama State Senate will soon decide if you get the right to vote on a lottery, casinos, and sports betting. But they need to hear from you. Did you know Alabama is one of only 12 states where you can't legally bet on sports? House Bill 151 allows you to choose whether you can place a bet on the big game this weekend. Call your state senator today. Tell them to vote yes on the lottery and gaming bill. For more information, go to sportsbettingalliance.org. It's paid for by the Sports Betting Alliance. Again, sportsbettingalliance.org. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Final segment here on the show. Alabama, a winner last night over Ole Miss, setting up the battle for first place Saturday. You can go back and listen to Dalen Cuff talk to us about Alabama's win and Tennessee's win over Auburn last night, wherever you get your podcast. Remember, like, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up there. Justin Hokanson with us earlier, available on the podcast as well, where you can go and hear Justin talk about Auburn football, spring football drills going on so far. Our Emily Grace McWhorter is in Auburn as we speak, talking with Hugh Freeze and the Auburn football players. You'll have that on our video platform at Next Round Live on all of our social media later today and tomorrow and throughout the week. So go check that out and like and subscribe and set your alerts so you don't miss anything. Final segment of the show being brought to you by our friends at Way to Wellness. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. The website is aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. No cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. The program is overseen by board certified professionals. There's no contract, there's no sign-up fees, and you can get a free consultation. Jumpstart your weight loss, maybe control your blood pressure or your cholesterol through your diet. The website, again, is aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. You can just say, hey, Jim's doing a pretty good job with his weight. I'd love to learn more about what you did for Jim. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. You guys like mysteries, and you also like sometimes the crime podcast. Right now, the most talked about mystery, and I don't know if it's a crime or not, I've not listened to it, but it's actually a 50-part series.
Holy crap.
On TikTok.
Is this the chick getting a divorce?
Who the F Did I Marry by Risa Teresa, and it is who she married. It's 50 TikToks in story form told. She tells her story, and according to everybody, it has blown up around the country. Who the F, and it says the words, did I marry? Who the F did I marry? Risa Teresa.
Yeah, Leighton was telling me about this on Sunday at dinner, and she's been listening to it. And my first question was, is it real? And she's like, I think it is.
Well, there's also a television series called Who the Bleep Did I Marry, where it's basically almost like a Dateline version of like women that are men or women that are their spouse or just like changed when they marry. But it's interesting how you can get away with the same name.
The total runtime on this thing is like over 7 hours.
Yeah, one business day. You can watch it one business day.
Is that what people are doing at work?
Yeah. I would not call that a business day.
But 50 TikToks, and it works out to where it's about 7 hours.
Yeah, she said it was entertaining. I would assume if this thing is that good and it really captures a lot of people's attention, that somebody like Netflix will buy the rights for it and they'll actually turn it into something.
Can you summarize what we would be getting into if we chose to?
I can't, Brown, but there are other spinoffs that basically give you the summary of each episode. People who have now are getting thousands of followers and likes by giving this summary of the latest episode of Who the F Did I Marry from Risa Teresa there.
It says,
check it out on TikTok.
It's a tale of a woman who dated, then married a pathological liar that took her on a roller coaster and left her with a story to tell. You'll be captivated the entire video.
One of his lies, apparently, it was that he was an arena football star.
Well, I mean,
that's a lie right there.
That's an oxymoron to begin with.
Well, if that impressed her,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm dating an arena football star.
He made $800 a game.
I don't even think arena football exists anymore, does it?
Forster, do you have the dance team from WPIX television in New York?
They have a dance team?
They don't.
Oh.
But apparently the New York Police Department has what is called their official dance team.
And they would need this why?
I don't know, but this is them on WPIX in New York's morning show. Meet the New York Police Department dance team.
Well, I tell you what, I ain't buying a ticket to that. What?
These are real New York Police Department officers who have formed a dance team, and it's fully sanctioned by the New York Police Department.
Are you kidding? Well,
Boy, I got to be honest. I think I could snatch a purse and get away from a good majority of them.
That was some of the comments, LT, is that's not the most athletic bunch of police officers.
No, they got a gun, Lance.
Yep.
I don't know if you can use lethal force for snatching a purse.
Shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah, maybe.
A dance team is a stretch here. I'm not even sure that's a good aerobics group.
I mean, who actually had the idea? It had to be over alcohol.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Boy, I think we could put this thing together.
We got a lot going on here at NYPD. Anybody got any suggestions how to make it better? Gina was talking about a dance team the other day. I think it's a good idea.
I don't know how many police officers are on the New York Police Department, but they have 7 on their dance team, and that was the best 7 they could come up with that volunteered for this. Thank you, WPIX. PIX there, Channel 11 in New York City. Independent news.
Somebody
at
thought
your time.
Somebody thought on the mystery, is Lunsford back there? Somebody thought they were going to ask about Kate Middleton. Is she missing Kate Middleton? That's the one that's married to the old boy that lost all his hair.
No, I think Middleton's just she's struggling with some kind of
well, she's supposed to have
illness,
some kind of surgery and
major health issue.
Just disappeared from complete public view, which obviously if you're a royal, that's not typically what happens. And so it's ask the question now because he's about to be king since Charles has cancer. It's okay, so where is she? What happened? And nobody really knows what happened.
I thought it was life-threatening, her illness, that it was.
I mean, that's a theory that a lot of people have, but I don't think anything official has actually come out other than there was some kind of procedure, but then something went awry somewhere along the way.
G. Curbo says she's not been seen in public since Christmas, and that appears to be uncommon for her. Like, she'd be seen a lot more than that, right?
Well, yeah, I mean...
you're a royal family.
Well, she's a princess.
All the time.
I mean, she's basically what Diana was.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, really and truly.
That's
and imagine
true.
she was everywhere.
Good point.
But, she could be dying, and she could have cancer.
Well, that's why people are asking, yeah.
Exactly. That's where, that was
I did
my
see
takeaway.
this uncomfortable video that was circulating this morning, and it was a meteorologist, and she's like, "Oh, we're going to go to the mailbag." Somebody asked me, "Congratulations on the pregnancy, and nice job wearing those bus driver pants to work."
Yeah.
She was like, "Just to let you know, I'm a cancer survivor. I had my uterus taken out last week, and this is what women like me look like now."
Oof. Yeah. And I'm not a bus driver.
Cut 6, we end the show here with our visit yesterday to Tuscaloosa. Kalen DeBoer, we talked to him about not the entire Washington coaching staff like we thought it was going to be in Tuscaloosa. And we asked him about just having new blood on that coaching staff.
Sometimes to bring in new blood, though, new voices that haven't been with you a couple of years.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of that.
Yeah.
Really, there's only 2 coaches on the staff that were with me at Washington.
Right.
Shep and Sheridan, and so a lot of different pieces. I think it's huge. You want people that know your systems, not just I'm talking offensively, but just kind of the mechanics of your operation and what how to get that consistency incorporated into our program here quickly as efficiently as possible. But I completely agree. I think you have to always be evolving. And in order to evolve, you have to have other voices. And I think we got a great combination of that. I mean, I think we have other head coaches like Mo Lindquist and what he brings, and sitting in his position meeting the other day, and just what type of coach he is, just is awesome. Our guys are going to get coached up in a special way, and I go around each room and hear that. And Coach Cap, with the offensive line. Just time and time again, as I was looking for our offensive line coach, which I think is one of the critical pieces. They're all critical, but a huge part of your program. And just the recommendations, I mean, he's living up to all those, already just in 1 week here being together with him. So I go on and on about every coach and what they bring. I think we got a special group that is ready to, prove something. They're driven people. And again, I keep bringing up low ego because, the decisions we make have to be the best decisions for Alabama football, not the ones because we thought of it.
Yeah, the ego thing was what I left Tuscaloosa thinking about after meeting those coaches yesterday. What was y'all's big takeaway from yesterday?
Well, look, I was really impressed. I mean, we've heard about these facilities. I had never had the opportunity to walk around the building. Everything was absolutely top notch. And one of the fascinating things I saw, and I don't know if you saw this, Brown. I know little T saw it for a second. Maybe you did. It was when I was with Josh Maxson, and I think you were in another part of the building. And Mal Moore dedicated to that facility in his name now a lot of his memorabilia from over his time as a player and coach and athletic director. And, one of the things you got, the old swag bags you would get with the bowl games were watches.
Right.
And one of his original watches, we were laughing about this, they get like fossil watches now. He had a Rolex from the 1968 Orange Bowl. He had a tag in there. He had an Omega. The watches they were giving away back in the day
$high
that are on display. Yeah, I mean, they are premier worldwide watches, great brands. And I just thought it was really cool to look at some of that stuff that Mal Moore had dedicated to that facility, which was, again, state-of-the-art.
I'm kind of with Lance. As much as I enjoyed our conversations with the coaches, just seeing the facility from the inside, it really looked like that facility was built by Nick Saban saying, I'm going to request something I don't think they can build for me. And then they built it. I mean, it's just the most insane stuff. Like, if you're a recruit and you walk through there, I know you see a lot of nice facilities. That one is tough to ignore. Though.
Yeah, I was talking to one of our tour guides about, are there other facilities that match this? And they were like, there might be 5 or 6. As far as the conversation with the coaches, we'll see what happens, how that translates into wins. They were nice, they were accessible, all that stuff. Time will tell on how successful they are, but they've got all the resources now. Yeah. They were successful at places where you didn't have these resources. Now you've got everything you need.
Yeah, and Taylor is working on a behind-the-scenes walkthrough of those facilities. You'll see some of what the guys are talking about. Make sure you set your alerts and continue to like and subscribe and follow us on all the platforms, and she'll let you know when all that is out and about. Don't forget the Meltdown later today, 2 o'clock live Central Time on this same platform. Just go and like and subscribe to the Meltdown. You'll see the icon on our YouTube page here. And we're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. Look forward to a Friday show tomorrow. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.